Yo, what's up, guys? Happy Monday. Snack Sailor Comet. Good to see you guys. We are back on Reaper because we failed last week. To be fair, the game kind of made it very difficult on me, so I wanted to not pass this until we've completed it, so we returned to Reaper. I think my next one is going to be Summoner, but we got to do this one first, so let's get in there right in. Got 90 floors to conquer today to get it set up for next week. So let's do it. Hope you guys are doing well. There's the unfortunate fail right over there. Alright, let's go. Reaper went really fast last week, so I'm kind of expecting it to go about just as fast. We will fly on Reaper. That's fine. Especially when we do traps like that. I don't know how I didn't hit that trap 9 times over. Alright, I beat it before the respawn. If something had respawned there, then I would have had to have dealt with it. We beat it before the respawn. Oh, good. Okay. Just made it right at the very end. Okay. Yo, what up, Brokey? How you doing? Happy Monday. Okay. Pull. Two more steals, that's nice. I'll probably get the other chest that's in the other room then. Will be good. Assuming that there was all that was there. Got off work, eating a meal, stream to play more Wuwa. Nice. I'm on I think I'm like caught up on Wuwa now. Like I think I left 2 companion stories, but I'll get to them eventually. I think if anything I want to catch up a little bit more on Honkai. Honkai has their endgame out now, so I want to kind of chip away at that. But I'm actually I was at a certain point really behind the gacha games, but like I'm good with the stories and everything, so I'm just kind of ready for an update. Vilex, good to see you. Doing alright. Okay, that's the exit. I'll go this way first. I returned a few days ago after a year, and holy moly, I was overwhelmed with notifications, events, and tutorials. They had like a return campaign thingy. I don't know if you took advantage of that. I know, like, I think we have codes for that stuff, so I'm not sure if that might be something that might be interested in you. But I know there's something like if you hadn't played for like 60 days, you can benefit off of it. Well, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, that sounds like a year. So that might have been before Renacida. So there's definitely a lot. I felt like, I felt like the game became certainly a little bit more quality after like 1.1. It certainly felt like 1.0 was a little rushed. Like it felt rushed, and I think there was definitely some tell that there was like some like re-recording of voice lines and whatnot. But once it stepped into 1.1, it felt a lot more polished. And then even moving forward, like Renacida is fantastic. I think Renacida looks gorgeous, with the quality of how the game was then. So they're definitely moving in a. I think they're moving in a really good direction. Whereas funny enough, I feel like people think Honkai is kind of going a little bit down-ish, hoping that they kind of pull it back a little bit, but Honkai has always been like a nice maintenance game for me anyway. the story is kind of whatever, but it's getting into a nice part of the story that I think I want to have a little bit engagement with. But their main story, to me, is kind of whatever. I don't really care about the main story. I still finished some of the first map quests. Get 100% everything except some island to the east. That's where I'm going next. Guys, yeah, I did that. I spent like a day or two doing that part. I think I have 1 or 2 areas myself too to complete. I was also desperate for asteroids, so I was trying to do everything I could to get some asteroids. Right now, I'm kind of just waiting, and I'm banking it in for the next major patch coming in. So, also the next banner coming in. When the banner turns over, I do want to try to go for some pulls there, but I'm kind of vibing right now. I got a lot in store. It's just I don't want to burn off too much. I'm actually trying to find another game that I can sink my teeth into. I mean, I don't have anything after Clair Obscure at the moment, unless I go back to kind of my oldies. Maybe I'll consider like an ASCII playthrough or something. I don't know, but kind of just chilling for like another game to show up at the moment. I'll take a new lady. Oh, Zanny, Donnie. She's an interesting character, that's for sure. Which means you haven't. I think you haven't seen her in the story yet, right? Or maybe you have, because that's the start of Renacida. You'll see her in Renacida. Yeah, I'm saving for the Carlotta rerun, which is gonna come next banner, and then the banner after that, there's a character that will be coming in that I will refrain from saying because it's partially spoilers. But yeah, very interested in the next character. Alright, I think I got my groove. I always have like a little bit of like a, you know, need a little bit of a warm-up phase to get myself into things. But I think we're in now. Killing the next She-City, should be. Haven't touched any mean toys since... Yeah, oh man, yeah. Yeah, the moment you get into 2.0, you'll see that character that you pulled. A lot of people definitely like her a lot. This one. I think I might have to fight the dragon of the zone next story. Gotcha. That would be the Sentinel. Jue, right? Get this chest. What floor are we on? 55? I think... I'll strengthen 57. I think if I strengthen 57, we should carry into the boss. One %, not even 1%. 0.1%. Okay, take this chest. That is a mimic. Hold on a second. Okay. Wanted to wait for my cooldown to come up there. Nice. Just in time. Yo, what up, Aida? Good morning? Question mark? Are you heading to bed now? Out of here. Okay, now I can strength. I fixed my sleep schedule. I mean, I still don't know what that means. I mean, you could be sleeping right now. You fix it so that you can sleep now, so... And I mean, I'm also not implying that it's a bad thing. I'm just, you know... I'm just unsure what schedule you're actually on. Oh, but you're fixing your schedule because of the convention, right? You probably need a semi-normal schedule for your convention. It's afternoon here, shake my head. I mean, that's what it says outside. Again. Your schedule's your schedule, right? It's all that matters. Oh man, it canceled my attack. No, it's good. Oh, I missed the thing by 3 seconds. Auto heal disabled again. I just made a full circle. Love that for me. Hey. Oh, it's auto heal disabled. I gotta watch out for that. My last 2 weeks of alterations. 12 straight mimics, 1 Mandy, 12 straight mimics again, 7 straight Mandy, back and forth bit, then I got 8 straight mimics. Damn. You know, when you toss that into like a spreadsheet, it'll look kind of okay. But the fact that you got them in a row is insane. Yeah, I remember one of my monk runs, Barman, when I was going for monk clear for the first time. I think I used 5 or 6 alterations and 191, and they were all mimics. I remember distinctly every single one I used, and I was trying to get some help too. All of them mimics. And I think I wiped that run at like 198 or something, which was still amazing, but it was incredible that I got that many mimics in a row. Sometimes it just be like that, you know? Strength. I think the strength I have on should carry me to the boss. At least that was the idea. Another shot. I never touched it. Oh, there's a lot of arch demons here. Okay. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. Also fine. Not as fine as I wanted it to be, but okay. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. Ah, special enemy. Yeah, sure, why not? Since you're special, I will drop you. Here, eat a stun. Oh, you're stun resistant. You have indeed been executed. Ooh, a potsherd at 59. Let's go. That's something you'd expect to see this low, but you'll take it. Especially because my potsherds are starting to take a hit. I need to really do like a tank run or something. I don't know. Healer run. That is an Astro. Oh, I could have shielded the knockback, I think. It's fine, I'll just do my dash, it's fancier. Still one of my favorite dungeon themes. Alright, 10 down. 80 to go, let's go. Nice quick 15 minutes in and out. Already? Alright. Bum 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 bum. So I always say this, I think, every week. I love getting back into my playlist because I don't really hear the playlist as often. So it's nice to kind of hear these songs again. But they are all good songs. It's like enjoying it in moderation, you know? Hello? Okay. I actually got Jog. I killed it so fast that I kept Jog on. Nice. That's a dead end, and there's 2 chests here. I'm gonna pull it, and then move over there, because it could be a double whammy explosion there. Which it was not, which I'm happy with. Hey Zavran. Doing okay. Thanks for asking. I hope you're doing okay. What are you up to? What are you up to with gaming, man? I was mentioning it at the top of the stream. I'm kind of in the search for a game now because I don't really have a game. I've had a couple people ask me like, "What's my game post expedition?" And I'm like, I have no clue. I don't even have a game off stream right now. I'm kind of just like keeping my eye out for some things. I kind of want a new game. I kind of don't want to go back to an old game. So, hey, Corrupted Peasant. Hope my Monday's going well. I would say, you know, I would say the Monday's going well. Yeah, the Monday in itself is going pretty good. So thank you for asking. Mainly playing Street Fighter at the moment. New rank phase came in, so grinding that again. I'm like hoping that a Path of Exile season doesn't come anytime soon. That's like, I'm on cooldown with Path. I don't know if I'll even compete in the race right now. Just not in the mood for it. If they ever do one, that is, but I guess it depends on the category, but I haven't touched Path since I died, what, last week? 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. I died 2 weeks ago. Dropping all the gacha games once Fantasy Life. What is Fantasy Life? Did we talk about that? What's Fantasy Life? Is that are you dropping all gacha games for a gacha game? Is that what's going on? I don't think I ever want to really drop like Wuwan and Honkai. I feel like I've invested so much into it that I wanna maintain, you know. Wuwan I'm still not doing endgame, but Honkai I'm doing endgame. And I've been doing I'm in the middle of it now and I feel like I can be successful, so. I still wanna get good at I do wanna do that no-hit run on Expedition, but at the same time, it's like it's been hard to get me motivated to do the research right now. I think I still want to just wrap up the game first completely, and then probably hop into it. Like I'm totally like in the okay to look up to look up strats and stuff, but it's just I haven't told myself to do it yet. But I do want to do that, and that'll take some time to practice, so that'll fill in some time. But also, like, I haven't really had the mood to get myself to just play anything at the moment. But I've been working on stuff. We've been working on some projects on the back end, so at least there's that. It's not a gacha game. It's an RPG with jobs and top-down action gameplay. It'll come back to the gachas. Oh, gacha, okay. Fantasy Life. So when does that come out? I'm kind of curious to see. Let's see. Fantasy Life. The Girl Who Steals Time? Is that what that is? A Guide to Your New Life. It's giving me, well, this climbing. Open world? Okay. It's kind of giving me Animal Crossing vibes, except it's a lot more open. Slow life, plus open world, and dungeon exploration? Okay. Decorate your house, shape your island. Online multiplayer. Live your way with 14 different lives. Combat life. Whoa, interesting. This actually looks like a pretty cool game. Neat. That did not come up on my radar. Not sure if... I don't know, I'll probably look into it a little bit more. Keep that in mind. Thank you for sharing, by the way. I'm excited to play the new Doom. I can see you on that. I can see you, Zevin, on the new Doom. Hell yeah, dude. Doom has never been something for me. I think I played the original Doom, and it was never up my alley. I mean, I've never gravitated too much towards FPS. It really makes it a funny story because the only reason I have such a a big history with Counter-Strike, even though I say I'm not too into FPS. My first exposure in Counter-Strike was when I was in the Philippines with my family, and they brought me, like all the cousins were around my age, they brought us to a LAN party, which I've never been to, like an actual internet cafe, which I've never seen before. We're talking years ago. We're talking 20-something years ago. And they had Counter-Strike, and that's when I kind of just, liked it so much. Like, I had so much fun. I just wanted to keep playing it, so I invested so much time into that whole thing. I think that was my very first FPS game that I really liked. But I never really gravitated too much towards that genre in general. Yo, what up, Cutman? Cutman's gacha game, gacha day. We're just talking about some gachas. I hope you had a good one. Hope Withering Waves and any other ones that you played were good. And welcome in, guys. I'm Manchester Minutes. We are in our hometown, Final Fantasy XIV, doing some deep dungeon. We're working on a Reaper solo because last week we failed the run, so we are back in it. To be fair, last week was very, very difficult, and the game wanted me to die, and well, I unfortunately died, so we're back here again, trying to set it back up. Hope you're doing well, man. Whoa. Was it? I did the first two, and then I'll probably do the rest of them later tonight. I mean, I was kind of just tossing out like janky teams when we were kind of clearing it. I think I did 9 and 10, so I'm gonna do 11 and 12 at some point. I kind of feel confident with it based on what I have, but you know, never know sometimes. And mostly it's always at least for me, it's always a challenge on defense. I think on 10 I had to manual because it got like the AI got pretty dumb with the auto battle, so I had to take over for a little bit, but. My investment in E1 Glea was paying dividends. Nice. I mean, my investment in E2 S1 Casterus is paying off. So I mean, I'm taking full advantage of Casterus right now. We just doing setup today. 50 to 140, yeah. I gotta be in a special mood to do the full run in a day. We did Pictomancer 51 to 200 well recently, but I have to be in a very special mood to do something like that. So we're just setting up today and then aim for the clear next week. I hope you're doing well, man. It's always good to see you, dude. Have you started up, or will you start up Expedition soon? Dej. Wait, there's a chat. Oh no, that's a purity. Okay. Oop. Exit is that away with a patrolling Mylodon. Everyone's been asking me to play. I want to finish Oblivion first. Well, you know, you're definitely in the spot right now, Cutman, where the later and later you play it, the more and more people can watch it because they're going to be done with the game. It's like that thing with. I mean, I'm sure you've had to think about it maybe, or you already know your answer. But I always look at it when it comes to streaming new games, especially storyline games more specifically. You get two options. It's either you do it on release or you do it like a month later. Because if you kind of do it in between, then it's like, well, it's literally in between. Like, you could have just waited a month later, or you could have just played it on release. If you play it on release, you stay ahead of people, you avoid spoilers, you get to enjoy it fresh. Of course, it means less people get to enjoy it because they're also trying to play the game. You play it a month later, you presume everyone who's wanted to play it has already played, and they can now enjoy your playthrough. And it isn't to say any choice of that is wrong. Everyone has to have their own preference, and my preference is to play it on the day of release. But you're entering into that bracket of like, the later and later you play it, it's probably going to be even better because everyone will just be able to enjoy it. And they don't really patch the game that much. I mean, they did one quote-unquote major patch, but I mean, the game in itself is fine. And then anything, by the time you get to it, it's probably going to be nice and clean and crispy, more so than it is now. What's up, Sparks? Thanks, appreciate it. I should need luck today. If I need luck today, then, you know, I really need to button up my strategy, but... Oh, I overkilled. Oops. Okay. I usually don't get to choose, especially with 14. I need to unlock stuff, but yeah, I'll think about getting it soon. Nice, nice, nice. But definitely stay away from the spoilers. Like today, I'm not gonna talk much about it. I think people are still trying to get through it. We did beat the game. I hit credits, but that's all I'll say. You can ask me what I think of it, but I won't go too far into detail. If you really want me to delve down into like specifics, then you have to come in and ask me when I'm playing the game, because we'll be obviously not spoiler-free. Very much not spoiler-free. But always when I play a different game, I try to be at least respectful to it. Okay. Miss Perfy, hello. Good to see you. I usually get to choose. Oh, I already read that already. I haven't been avoiding them, but I also have seen. But I also have seen them either. Aside from the funny meme people post and stuff, yeah. I would say, you know, observing Twitter mostly. They've been pretty tame on it. Even Facebook. Facebook was not good during Rebirth. Like I was going at a decent pace on Rebirth, and I would poke in towards Facebook sometimes, and they're posting stuff ahead of me. I'm like, bro, you can't be doing this right now. But at least the guys for Expedition they've been pretty nice about talking about too much, because there are some important story bits to it that I as a enthusiast of a JRPG would feel like it would be better to learn it on your own than secondhand. Hey Willow, I hope you're having a good day. You know, the Monday's pretty good. I'm doing alright, but the Monday's pretty good. Thanks for asking. What up, Stig? How you doing? Hope you're having a good day, too. Good to see you, friendos. It's always a pleasure. Oh, I'm at the boss. Okay. We need the epic boss music for this fight for sure. Plus, I always hope if I'm super polite, Velvet will think I'm a bot and ban me so I can write a tweet longer about her, specifically about her. Can you tell me how you have the background music off but it can still hear the enchantments and stuff? But I can hear the enchantments? I can't hear the enchantments. So I just have BGM off in performance, but that doesn't matter here. BGM is only off. So you know how if you go into a floor, you'll hear if there's a debuff or rather an enchantment, like you said, you'll hear do 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 do, like you'll hear that sound. I don't hear that sound with the BGM off. If that's what you mean. I don't hear that sound. What? The wrong button. I thought I did. No, I didn't hear it. No, so there are times when you maybe catch me say, oh, it's blind, oh, it's ability, oh, I hear the buff go onto my character. Because there's a sound that you hear when a buff goes on your character. And that's what I hear and recognize. And blind and ability have a different sound effect than all the other ones. Does that make sense? And so that's what I'm referring to when I say, oh, it's going to be this. Now, of course, you can also put in your chat log, which is something Ross does. Which, that's why he sees it beforehand, because he can just see it in the chat log, which I don't do, but obviously it's something you can do. Yeah, I don't hear those sounds. Like, I think if you get an intuition, there's a sound to the intuition. Hold on. If I can find the intuition here. I seen the chat log, I just thought there was some magic setting I was still missing. Gotcha. Yeah, no. I don't hear that stuff with the BGM off, which is fine with me. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, like, I guess it would be kind of cool if I could hear that stuff, but I can't hear that stuff. Let me just see what the intuition is. It is not here. I guess it's in the other room. Alright, I'll go back to it. So the intuition's gonna be in this room then. So if I step on an intuition right now, Perfy, you do not hear you won't hear anything. I just pick it up. It'll be just kind of just like it just happens. BGM 40. Okay, so this is in-game music. So you hear that? That's BGM. So that's definitely BGM, but if I step on it without it, then you don't hear that sound. Ba-ba-da, like you don't hear that. Now, I guess that also brings up a point, Perfy, Because I've had this happen to me multiple times playing games that I've played for years. FF11 did this to me, and 14 does this to me. Does any of you in chat have this, like, phenomenon, if you will? Where, like, you have the music off, or, like, you have it muted, or you don't have your headphones in, and you enter an area, let's say, like, Gudanna, and you hear the music playing, but there's clearly no music playing because you're just so used to when, like, the sound is supposed to play, that your mind is like already playing it in your head, but it's not really playing because you don't even hear anything. That has happened to me a lot. Just like this, I condition you guys that this is supposed to be raid. Yeah, so that could also be part of it, Perfy. Maybe if you're watching my screen intently and you see it come up, you hear it in your head, you know. But good old Sig. Wow, he was playing 14 the last time he streamed? Unbelievable. I can't believe this. Last games I remember Sig playing was Repo and some anime game, some anime FPS where he went flat up against the wall. That's all I remember. Yan Gaming. Oh, that's true, you guys were doing the raid, that's right. Did you guys clear M8 yet? Or no? Sheila streams at a very inconvenient hour for me, so I can't really check it out. And that's the answer I wanted to see. That's all the answer I need. I get my explanation there. I'm out of here. Hey, I noticed that sometimes sound enemies will aggro even though I RP walk. Does it happen if you go through the mob hitbox or something? Hey, nearly. So, it can. It's weird. I think there's some, like, weird occurrence when it comes to sound enemies. I do thoroughly believe if you walk directly into their hitbox, you will aggro them. But there have been cases where that doesn't actually happen. But I would say it's like, I don't know, it has something to do with the server tick and the movement and blah blah blah. But I've also had the very annoying occurrence where I'm walking through them, I'm nowhere near them nearly, and they'll just decide to aggro. That's a very, very rare occurrence, but I've had it happen to me, and I couldn't give you a proper explanation other than I just have to be ready for it. A lot of times it happens to me in the 181 set with crawlers and worms, where were just like, you know what? I'm not sound aggro today. And they just aggro. It's so dumb, but it is a rare occurrence. And unexplained, probably, unless someone does have a very detailed explanation as to why, or some theory going on with it, but yeah, that's the best I can tell you. Just know that, statistically speaking, more times than not, you should be fine if you RP walk through his town. Yeah, I wish I can give you a better answer, but that's just literally me speaking from experience that I've seen myself. Sound enemies just kind of do whatever they want. They kind of do. They kind of do. Titan procs, I'll YOLO the tightest of gaps with the full faith that it'll work. Sound enemies, I'm still RP walking 30 kilometers away. The next room's all away. I have trust issues. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, there are times when, like, I think I'm supposed to be safe and I'm totally not safe. That doesn't help, but... Do I check the chest, though? Or is the chest? Can I get in the exit before the Cyclops sees me? Nope. Okay, gonna re-strength here. Oh, 2 special enemies? Uh-oh, we have a scoring file and I didn't... Oh, I almost did it. We almost did it, guys. What's my HP at? 64? It wouldn't have been the wombo combo. Hey, Max Poetic. Things that both Deep Dungeoners and Odysseus say. Can I get through the exit before the Cyclops hits me? Hey, at least we have something in common. Yo, what up, Max Poetic? Good to see you. Happy Monday. Something respawned. Hey man, how you doing? I'm here to watch and learn to study your necromancer runs. Hell yeah, any questions, ask it. Today's the best time to ask questions because it's gonna be pretty chill over here. Shouldn't really stress me out too much, which is kind of what I'm going for, so... Hope you're having a good man. Good man. Hope you're having a good day, man. Good to see you. I mean, anything, you know, something I want to stress is that, like, even though this is a nice casual climb up, you know, we're just setting up a file, it's not anything difficult, this should not necessarily be taken for granted, especially if you're someone who's looking to get for their first clear. Because this right here is what will get new players. The whole reclimb, the whole, it's 100 floors, 150, you know, it's such a slog. Well, I would say a good chunk of new players will make a lot of mistakes here, and they have to actually take even longer because they have to reset the file X amount of times. And I've definitely gotten into a groove where it might seem like we're playing very nonchalant, very just whatever. My attention is to you guys, I'm talking with chat, but there is a lot of safety measure that I put into this run to make sure that we don't make a critical mistake. And I've made critical mistakes here before, like it's not that I'm immune to them, but they are like literally very few and far between. I can probably average maybe once a year, setting up all the files that I do, once a week, if not twice a week, that I actually messed one up before we got to the high floors. And that's a lot of runs per year, you know, to have that consistency, so... Definitely, oh shit. Definitely keep an eye on that, because that's something that can benefit you as well. Every little thing in Deep Dungeon is something that you can perfect, even down to the lower floors. I'm doing alright, man. But thank you for asking. Let's get out of here. Oh, no. I knew I was gonna use that steel, apparently. Ugly trap. Let's go here first. I'm really feeling like I'm making far less mistakes in 51 to 100 floors, but that is learned through a lot of embarrassing KOs. Trying to optimize the time is probably a good next step for you as it becomes more experienced in the 100s. Yeah. And that's a good way to approach it, because it is all a learning experience. You know, I think it's very dangerous when someone will look at a run and they get to whatever floor and their first thought was, oh my god, I wasted all this time. No, you did not. Please don't think like that. Time was not wasted on the run. You just have to try really hard to just see what the positives are, what you can take away from it, because you could have learned something even on the lower floors. But if you kind of dismiss it as, you know, whatever, I'll just do the same exact thing I did last time, well, that's how you just don't progress, because clearly what you just did wasn't good enough, and it has to be better. It's me and EO, though it's only 100 floors, it's still a slog going through the first 80 floors to not fail floor 30 plus at times. Taking a break from grind by watching a Deep Dungeon stream. Hey look, you know, nearly when I was progging EO blind, Look, man, it was one of the times where I finally got to remember how it felt like progging a deep dungeon where I don't have a clear, because the feeling is the same as all of you guys. There was a very marked difference when you already have the title and you're going for a re-clear, and you've never gotten that title and you're going for your first clear. Massive confidence difference. And when I did my blind prog in EO, day 1. Like the day of release, day 1, we got to 60 and I wiped. That was great. Day 2, I spent 10 hours on stream. We streamed 10 hours, and I never got past floor 41 or 41 plus. Like, we died on 41 plus 3 times, and it became like a trauma thing for me. It's like I can't get off this floor. Like, I can't get off. Like, I made so many mistakes. I was just making dumb mistakes here, but it was all learning. Like, okay, I'm gonna be careful with this enemy. Okay, I gotta be careful with this enemy, and it was just a whole execution thing. But like, yeah, it's all part of the process. You will that very first run, you'll get up to a really high point. It's very common. You get up to the high point because you're playing so careful, and you don't want anything to go wrong, and then you get a little complacent on the runs after that because you're like, oh, well, I already did this part, so we should be fine. And that's where you make your biggest mistakes. That is where you start to feel like you digressed, but you didn't digress. You're just learning new things, you know? EO blind should have been brutal. I think it could have been more brutal if I didn't have the experience that I did in Deep Dungeon. Because I was using all the knowledge I had in Final Fantasy XIV, making assumptions about enemies that I've seen, and just kind of guessing. Also abusing lethargy as much as possible. I mean, one of the things that stood out for me was the sewer water enemies, the guys with the tentacles. It's a good thing that I saw that in the raid before. I think it was an Eden raid, so I knew what their mechanic was. And I was able to adjust the mechanic. It doesn't mean I die less to it, it's just I knew what they did. And you kind of look at that, like you just kind of think about, oh, this enemy did this before, so let's just see if I can recognize it. So there's a lot of game knowledge that came into play there. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty brutal because it's like, you know, you get hit, you're dead. That's it. That's kind of just all she wrote. But it's what I signed up for, and it's what I will sign up for again when Deep Dungeon 4 comes around. I died to 90 bias twice, had palms and onion knights. Time for that. Feels bad, but I learned a couple things. Yeah, I died. I think it took me 5 or 6 times to get to 99 to finally beat it. And it's like, it was brutal to have to go that high just to die to something I haven't seen yet. It's like you'd spend like 10 hours just to prog, right? But I mean, to be fair, it was a good show, I think. But yeah, 99's pretty brutal. But EO monkeys first time blind. No. So that I got alerted to a little bit. I think either I was told or I heard about the monkeys, so I was very careful with them. I think I did die to monkeys at least once. I gotta say I died to them once, but it was just because of misplacement. Like, it was more an execution issue than being surprised by them. And not to mention, I mean, it's like, I mean, I wasn't gonna stand in their AoE anyway. It was just being careful where they were. Is Machinist still king for first clears, or is Picto better? Hey, Mr. Nugget. Well, let's put it this way. I would say nowadays for Deep Dungeon, you're looking at kings and queens of the role. That every single role has a class that is probably going to stand out more than the others. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're the undisputed choice, but there's a lot of benefits to them. Machinist is still fantastic. From whatever. Okay, let's just put it this way. Let me put this in a nice perspective for like timeline purposes. Whatever you've heard about Machinist, whether it's like last week, whether it's 2 years ago, whether it's 3 years ago, Machinist in essence hasn't changed. It hasn't been like nerfed. It hasn't been anything. I mean, technically it has been nerfed, but that's a different story. It doesn't really affect the solo run. So it's still in great shape. Since you're comparing it to Pictomancer, when it first released, had a lot of momentum going for it. It had a lot of power. It did get nerfed a little bit, and I emphasize a little bit, You're looking at enemies dying 1 to 3 GCD slower than they did before, but Picto, in my opinion, is still a fantastic class. And I think it's still also a very, very wonderful pick. Is it a better pick than Machinist? Well, in my opinion, it just comes down to preference, because you're talking about a caster with that has to deal with Pox, and a physical range instant casting that doesn't have to deal with Pox. And for some people, Pox is like is the deal breaker. Like, that is exactly what you don't want to deal with. But for other people, you might look at Picto, you might see the damage output from the burst, and you're like, that's actually really fun. So take that as you will. How do you decide if a job is king or queen? How do you decide? To me, they're equal standing. It doesn't really matter if they're king or queen. Can be either king or queen unless Willow is playing the job, then it's a Joker. Damn. That's only when Willow plays Red Mage, though. Hopefully that gave you a decent answer, Mr. Nugget. What I like about Machinist is that it's a DPS with an interrupt. Hate dealing with several mimics in a row. Look, I remember when we were first doing our Pictomancer tutorial, nearly, and straight up, we finished 190. And I had someone in chat be like, wow, Picto is real. Oh no, Behemoth. Picto is really good. I just don't want to deal with Pox. That's it. No other reason. Like that's it. That's the only reason. You didn't have to enumerate anything else. You didn't have to explain the kiting power. You didn't have to explain the burst. It's like, I just don't want to deal with Pox, and for some people, that's it. That's just all they don't want to deal with, and that's fine. Yeah, no problem, Mr. Nugget. Yeah, my thing is like, okay, I'm gonna give you a story, Mr. Nugget, if you want to hang around for a little bit, or you're gonna hang around for the stream, because this is what irked me way back in the past. I never want to make someone pick a job while also not feeling like they have a way out, and not feeling like they could try something else. Because I think it's not a good idea, considering you're not looking at an era of Deep Dungeon where there are jobs that are impossible to clear Deep Dungeon. That's not a thing. Every job has cleared Deep Dungeon. Now, you can't argue pros and cons of every job. You know, compare Astro to like Warrior. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more going for Warrior than Astro, but look, if someone is destined that they want to do Astro for the clear, I mean, I'll give them the facts, but I'm not going to sway them from the actual, you know, reality of it. If they want to do it, they want to do it. They want to experience it. You don't really deny someone from experiencing it. And I remember, and I'll finish the story. I got to hit an ad, but I remember way back early, when Machinist was really kind of like topping the charts in terms of like people clearing it. Like, it was the popular. Like, this was before I think Warrior had raw intuition. I remember in one of the Discords, someone was asking, generally speaking, hey, what's up, Wallen? Hey, what's the best shot for Necromancer? And someone goes, Machinist, no dispute. They said objectively Machinist. And I got so pissed at that comment. I didn't say anything, but I got so pissed at that comment. You know why I got pissed at that comment? Because one, you're implying that Machinist is the only pick, and you shouldn't pick anything else. That was kind of where it's coming from. Like, why would you be so dumb as to pick any job if you want Necromancer? Well, here's the problem. Especially at that time, this was things I was exploring at the time. There are people who literally could not play Machinist. You're talking high ping people, like people playing from EU to NA or NA to JP, where Machinist is an awful experience. And I did that on my own to understand that. I played on, like, you know, the JP server, we played on Oceanic, and Machinist is awful with high ping. You have people who just don't like the idea of having, you know, running around the guns, running around with the instant cast, or kiting. They don't like kiting. You have people who will play this game hardcore on standard, where Machinist would benefit from Legacy. And what, you're gonna now tell the person, like, well, just play Legacy, what's a big deal? What if they came from WoW for like 12 years? You're gonna just all of a sudden tell them to just change their playstyle? Like, to me, I don't like just forcing someone out into doing something that they're going to be uncomfortable with, but you're doing it because you believe that is better, because that's where you start restricting people from having that creativity, and restricting the possibility of someone constructing some newfound strategy that none of us have ever experienced, because, well, we've established that there is one strategy and that's the only one you should do. Like, I think that's just irresponsible. So anytime that gets asked, anytime people ask me about jobs and everything, I'll always keep it very open-ended. I'll give you the facts. I'll give you what the community likes. I'll give you what I think about it. But certainly I hope it comes across that if you're thinking of another job that you want to do that isn't that job, that you don't feel shut off from it, because you should at least feel like, you know what, I at least want to try this job. At least I think I like this job a lot. I've been doing this job for 8 years, 6 years. My main job. I really want to try it with this job. Shouldn't be discouraged for it. And if someone discourages from me from doing it, then they're silly. Yeah, so go machinist anyway. Like, I like machinist. I'm just very biased to machinist. That's all it comes down to. But I'm with the bias to machinist, I try to keep it very open-ended. What's up, Ion? Ion Master, how you doing? Okay, I gotta hit an ad here. So 3 minutes on Twitch, a little bit less on YouTube, and we continue to run. Our goal is 140 today. So however fast we get there, we'll get there. Jesus, 290. What the hell, dude? 10 more streams till 300. Holy. Okay, I'll see you in a bit, guys. Ads are going out. Let's continue. I got pre-rolls. I might smash you with ads anyway. Oh, yeah. True, because my pre-rolls were down, so... Sure. Now they're not down. They shouldn't be down now. I'll strength here. I've recently started progging M6S. Nice. And do you like it? Are you having fun? You're an ads prog? I think everyone's on ads prog. Still. Isn't everyone just basically progging ads till the end of time? Let's have a lot funner. It's more funner than M5 was this early into prog. Gotcha. How could I risk missing a stream and these hot top takes? That's true. Do you guys think the raid experts in chat, which is basically all of you because I cannot define myself as an expert, do you think the next raid tier will have ads again? Do you feel like the ads were successful or were they unsuccessful? Or another way to ask it is, do you think you're expecting to deal with ads next raid tier? Safety. They were very fun, but okay. Like, it's a bit of a complicated question, right? Because it could also be like, well, what do you want? But then also, what do you think the devs want? At least one fight. They maybe quit. They maybe quit the tier. Damn. Rip. I can see one fight. Okay. Do you think it'll be like the final fight? Do you think they'll go that far? Do the final fight? Like, I fought it less, but I'm having about the same amount of fun with M6 as near the end of M5. Gotcha. I've also yet to actually get anything from raid coffers, to be honest. Me too. I have yet to get anything from a raid coffer too. I'm with you, man. Fist pump. Literally, I have not won a single item from the chests. Same. What up, Sadie? What is this? How you doing, Sadie? I'm looking forward to another Brood Bomber fight in M11. I'm no Savage Raider, but normal raids were quite fun. I never got off my butt to do 7 and 8 yet. I don't know if I'll ever do 7 and 8 now. I missed my window of opportunity. And it's really bad. If I miss the window of opportunity, I end up just not doing it. We'll see what I feel like doing, though. The ones are pretty fun, and actually, I might have a pair of friends to run the new ones with. Like when we get to M9. Gotcha. Nice. I like Machinist. I don't know how to play Pick though. How's Pick the survivability? Is it about the same as Machinist, or is there an ability that's any better? Okay. So, in terms of that very specific question, I would say hands down on the long run, Machinist would have more survivability. I would say on the bosses they're fairly even, but I would say, let's say Godfather 190. Machinist would probably feel a little bit safer than Pictomancer. Now, it isn't a clear-cut answer though, because here's the thing that you want to take into consideration, Mr. Nugget. on a regular basis, Machinist will be superior in survivability because Machinist is a little bit more sustained damage than Bursty. Like, they have burst damage, reassemble drill, obviously. But they're a little bit more sustained damage, and they can sustain on fights. And like, you just keep running and keep going. Pictomancer's a caster. And if all of your muses are down, then you are having to do stagger kiting or casting and moving, casting and moving, casting and moving. During that part of Pictomancer where you have to cast and move, that's where it's definitely more vulnerable than Machinist. Because, I mean, it's either you run for your life and not cast anything, or you have to stop and go. Stagger kiting's a thing, so that can help you do your mitigation. Now, the little detail. If Pictomancer has its 2-minute bursts, sometimes even just its 1-minute burst, you are killing things before they even get to you. Which is better than sometimes what Machinists can pull off. Because Machinists can kill things in kind of one volley, but not as good as Pictomancer. Pictomancer's completely wound up. And that's how Pictomancer kind of survives. It's just, you just kill things before they kill you. And I think that's one of the appeal of Pictomancer. And there are a lot of things that Pictomancer can handle that I would feel more comfortable with that I do not do on Machinist. Example. Even though Anzus are a little bit more trickier now because of 7.2 than they were prior to 7.2, I would still be willing to do Anzus on Pictomancer, no sweat. Like, the last time we did Pictomancer to do the update to see what Pictomancer was in 7.2, I still killed like 7 Anzu on Pictomancer because we kept trying it out to see how it felt. And I didn't really feel concerned necessarily about like wiping. Whereas on Machinist, I would never pull an Anzu. Unless I was trying to demonstrate something, I would just completely avoid them. Like, that's a massive difference. Even Frost Dragons, Worms, the Iron Course Patrols in 191+, I would never really pull them on Machinist unless I had Steel on. I am very confident to pull them on Pictomancer without Steel. To give you a little bit of a perspective there. And what's nice about Pictomancer is, especially if you're working the 2-minute bursts, your shielding will be available on that 2-minute. So that means you can open with a burst, take a big hit, but your shielding will absorb it, and then you'll kill it before it really gets any dangerous. So that's the difference of gameplay. And again, it's down to personal preference. It could be something that sounds amazing, it could be something that sounds dicey, and you kind of want to have a little bit of the safety on Machinist. Completely understandable. I like Pictomancer a lot. It gives a different flavor to the run. Very different than what Machinists may offer, which is nice, but it's not going to be for everyone. I really like M6S in concept, but it's a PF nightmare. Too many individual responsibilities, only takes one person messing it up. But do you think that's a fault of the design of the fight, or do you think it's a fault of the player? And do you think the players are just simply not good enough to handle that, or do you think that they're not there yet? Like, there's a difference, right? There's a difference because people will, like, I would say the general community will progress in their ability to play the game over time. Whether that's fast enough for you or not is debatable. That's why statics exist. And clearly, if people didn't get better at the game, they probably... Oh, interesting. They probably wouldn't get to do some of the harder fights at all. Like, they're getting better over time. But since it's now the first introduction of some serious ad things, do you think it's just simply because it's just something new that people aren't getting down? And that's all it really comes down to? And it may not be to your liking about how they're progressing the fight, which is completely fair. Or do you feel like this will just be what it is permanently? Like, this is... Like, they'll never get ad phase. It's just not a PF thing. You just don't do this thing in PF because... it just isn't a good experience, which is also fair. Like, these are things that I'm partially curious about because I don't know the ecosystem of a PF situation. I don't know if like there has been something that got introduced in the past that was initially hard AF, but then people just got better, so they eventually did it. I think it's definitely too much. I would really love more ads, but this was far too much. Okay, that's fair. I respect that opinion. I'm coming at it at a blank slate, so I just don't know what people think. And I'm always curious about this, so, okay. I mean, is it possible that someone could just formulate a PF strategy that just makes it easier? But I know PF tends to be stubborn with their strategies, that I know. They like to stay with strategies even if they're bad, because that's just what everyone does. Which is an awful, awful way to approach things. Is there any news on the DT Deep Dungeon? Not yet. Not yet. I would expect next live letter to probably show something. I just don't know when the next live letter is. I'm also planning to stream it with and co-stream it with our buddy Miss Sheila whenever that happens, so she'll be able to translate too. But I don't know yet. If they start saying like, okay, next live letter is gonna talk about 7.3, then yeah. But until that happens, I don't know. I wish I knew how to articulate it quickly. Also, chats are actually part of the issue. It's way too tight to make strats. Damn. That sucks, man. That is rough. See, and you know, I would be the one if I ever were in PF, Bunka High, I would totally be the one that's like, hey, we should try this really whacked out strategy that seems like it's really fun, but no one would join because they're like, oh, well, it's not this strategy. I was want to stick to this strategy. I would never get through PF because I'd be so stubborn. But it is confirmed that we'll be getting one DT. Yep. I mean, I would say so much, Guardios, that like we're at like a unless they explicitly say they canceled it, there should be no reason why there isn't a deep dungeon. That's how confident I am with that. There's been a couple things that they've said that made it very, very solidified. Epiphany, hey, thanks for the follow, welcome in. The most recent thing, Guardios, that we've seen was I think it was a Famitsu interview maybe about a month or two ago, where they were asking about the new field ops that's coming in, the one that's going to come in very soon. Isn't it end of the month that thing's showing up? So they were asking questions about just details about what it is and everything. They said, you know, it's going to be relic related, and how they're going to structure it is that 7.25 introduces the content, but then 7.4 and 7.5 is when they continue to expand it. Because they said 7.3 is the Deep Dungeon patch. And they also explicitly said that they want to make Deep Dungeon the leveling zone. Like, they want that to be the place that people go and level, not the field ops. So field ops, to my understanding, will be the area that is going to be more like a Eureka than a Bozja. A Bozja you can go in, you can level in Bozja. Eureka, the original Eureka, you cannot go into level. That has its own leveling process. So if they basically explicitly said that Deep Dungeon is going to be the way to level, it's really hard for me to believe that there wouldn't be a Deep Dungeon, if that makes sense. So that's what we have working with. You know, take that as however you want to take it, but that's what we've seen and I've read so far. I got into Deep Dungeon recently because of me. Got Heaven on High clear, and the only reason why I log in nowadays is to fog EO. Excited for the new one. Yeah! Bro, I only log into 14 to do Deep Dungeon and stream, that's it. I am like a full-blown content creator for 14. Which, like, even then, saying that is weird because I originally wanted to play games because I enjoyed the game. And, I mean, I enjoy 14. It's just this one is more like a job than enjoying the game. Which is fine because this is what I really like to do. Yeah, I haven't really logged into 14 to play it for fun. Hey, Hugo. Hey, Dip. How you doing? Good to see you guys. Lots of shots and such, but ads are way too tight. It's too big of a snowball effect. Say a tank is 2 seconds late to moving the ads. That's going to potentially wipe, or at least waste a lot of time for healer resources, and every ad has their own rage, so every second of damage matters. Gotcha. Gotcha. Bunkai, maybe the players just suck, man. We just gotta find better players, that's all. Makes sense, but also your other streams are great. I don't tune in when you're playing to avoid. Yeah, no, that's fair, and we hit credits, so yeah. I mean, if you're not at credits yet, please avoid the stream for the love of God. No, I appreciate that, man. I think this Nier song is still safe. I had to take out 2 of my other Nier songs. I think this is still fun though. Okay. Okay. Oh, I have auto heal disable. Go this way. Flight's good. Okay. Resolution. Alright. Doing good. It's true that the players need to get better, which I don't think is bad, but I think it's frustrating as someone who doesn't have the health for static. Yeah. Hey, I'm with you. Statics for me a no-go. If I ever intend to do a raid, for me it has to be through PF, because I just cannot. I mean, you don't have to go into details about you know what you just said there, but for me it's just I don't do statics very well. It's not that I make it sound like I'm a bad person. It's just it's not my thing. I don't you know. I've said before that like one of the main reasons I don't like statics is because I don't like having to look at a video game as an obligation. And to me, I will feel like a static is an obligation because I never want to be late. I always want to be punctual. I never want to feel like I'm letting people down. So, in essence, it becomes an obligation. And I never want to be kind of stuck to that because I always want to have the freedom of doing gaming at my leisure. And of course, like, I always follow this up saying, like, streaming in essence is an obligation for me. But I still have the freedom to do what I want on stream, you know, like it's still my choice to do whatever the heck I want. So that's at least open-ended there, but that's what I always feel with statics. It's not, and of course there's also dramas and everything, but you know, I'm sure I could find people that are really really great, and there are people in our community that are really really great. But it's just the obligation I don't ever want to feel like I want to commit to in a video game. I got curious about Deep Dungeon just because I don't have time for static. That's a mood. I too don't like statics in streaming because it feels like an obligation. Yeah. See, for me, nearly, when it comes to streaming, I always try to remember the original reason why I even streamed to begin with. And I always try to hold on to that part of it. And the real reason I started streaming in general was because I knew I had a skill that I felt like I wanted to share with people. At the time, we were doing Deep Dungeon, but at the time, we were doing a lot of PvP, and I was doing really good in PvP. And so it just came down to just executing really good gameplay. And then added in the commentary, because I usually talk to myself anyway, so it's just now verbalizing it in a microphone. And in essence, that's kind of just still the basis of why I still do this, you know? So I always want to keep that going, and I always want to remember that is why I do this. It's because I still consider myself a gamer first, not a content creator, a gamer first. And there are people out there who consider themselves a content creator first. That's not a problem. It's an entertainment business. Like, you need to entertain, so you got to do what you got to do to entertain. But to me, I'll sacrifice entertainment And I'll sacrifice something that might be not as, you know, energetic and fun and whatever, provided I'm showcasing something that I feel like is pretty cool to showcase, because that's all that matters to me. And it's like, take it or leave it, right? If you like it, great. If you want someone that's jumping off the wall and like yelling into the microphone, there are wonderful creators that do that, and they do it really, really good. I mean, I've seen a lot of high energy streamers, and I tell you, dude, I hop into their stream, I am out of energy in like 5 minutes, because they have way too much energy for me to get to, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my personality. But after all this time, I've seen enough evidence that this vibe is certainly what people... There are people that look for this vibe, and I'm happy for that. And I will cover that area. Sasuke, in my view, you should do what you want, what you feel is best, and what you're comfortable to feel. Yeah, but it's also tricky, Zinzia, because you also have to take into consideration that this is a business. And especially with full-time creators who their only income is this. Like, this is all the money they make. And you gotta respect the hustle. If they're doing things that are really weird, that means that they get revenue, you can't blame them. If that means they get food on their table the next day. Like you know what I mean? It's just, you just can't blame them. And sometimes people will do things that they know will pull views and will pull revenue, whether they like it or not. And it's a tough position, because there are things out there that you just have to kind of do it because it's just there. You know, like subathons are one big one. Some people will do the uncapped subathons that are sometimes very unhealthy, but hey, you know, it's revenue, so you can't. You know, I'm never gonna shoot someone down for trying to do the hustle. But there are a lot of things that I hope I don't have to end up doing, that I always keep in mind. But yeah, so it's tough out there. You know, it really is hard out there. Okay, I'm gonna bloodbath here. I feel that too, says Bunkai. For me, the biggest thing is just having too much health issues that cause pain. They happen randomly, so I have to either call out last second or I have to stop mid-prog. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Fully understand that the content stuff, the way you think and do stuff is much more of a better way of thinking. Yeah, at least that's what I think. I'm happy you agree. Because I've seen so many times my fellow creators kind of lose themselves sometimes. Because they just want to do it for the numbers, and numbers do mean results. So you can't really blame them for that. But sometimes chasing numbers is a very mentally taxing situation. That's why I'm not against clickbaits on YouTube either. I mean, it's what the algorithm. Yeah. I think what YouTube has outlawed, Trick, is the fact that you do a clickbait, but then it doesn't actually talk about what it's trying to click you into, right? I think that was a thing that people used to do, and they don't do anymore because they got in trouble for it. So at least that part is okay. But yeah, I mean, I remember there was like a tweet or a discussion, and it was Mr. Beast talking to someone else, like a fellow person, and they put out a thumbnail, and he went to that content creator and was like, "Hey man, you know, if you repost this thumbnail," and I forgot which the answer was. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter what the answer was. I mean, if you guys know the answer, it's fine. But he said something to the effect of like, "Well, if you actually post your face with your mouth closed, you will have a 25% more viewership than if your mouth was open." And I read that. I'm like, that's first and foremost insane, but also second, that's just statistics. And to me, that's, you know, it's algorithm, it's statistics, and it's like, I had to think, like, damn, do I want to live in an algorithm like that? Like, do I just want to just make things, not because I'm necessarily passionate for it, but because I know that if I do it this way, this specific way, it needs more views to come my way? It's hard. We all fall for clickbait at times, even if it's just, is it really that stupid? Yeah. Oh, it works all the time. I mean, it's something that'll, I think, never cease to exist and never cease to not work. The one I see in Facebook a lot, watch till the end! And then the video is like 9 minutes long, you know? and there's just like nothing for 8 minutes until like the very end. But like my thing too is like I do feel like if I try to go too far into just purely algorithms, I think I start introducing people that I may not even want in the community. And I think even though it's a much slower process to climb in the way that I'm personally doing it, I've never really had an awful interaction with someone on social media directly to me. YouTube, I've heard of the nightmares of people with YouTube comments. Like people just getting disgusting comments here and just really bad things here. And the entire time I've had the YouTube channel, we've probably had like 1 or 2 probable ones. But everything else, every interaction I've had on YouTube, especially with the guys that are there right now in the live stream, they've all been good. Like I think, and it's because the people who want to be here are here, not people who are just here because out of context they got driven to the video and they're like, they have no idea what it's about, but they're here because it has a lot of views, you know? That I'm proud about. Rage. Sure, I'll do a big thing. Actually, the site would have been too much, but it's not a big deal. I'll just drag you with me. Come with me. Hey, Rory. We're flying on Reaper, man. I've only been live for an hour and a half, and we're already in the 100, so we're going pretty well. Flying. One day you're clear. One day you're clear. What's the quote for Expedition 33? Tomorrow comes. That's their famous quote. Always believe that tomorrow will come. The clear will come. Emily, how you doing? I don't think I said hello to you. RMX, good to see you as well. Happy Monday, guys. I hope you guys are having a really good start of the week. For lights. Alright. Nope. Okay. Reaper back to back. Well, we didn't clear last time, so this is a revenge. This is the anime revenge arc right now. Game definitely wanted to kill me last time. They got me, so I gotta get some revenge. What's up, Stoat? Good to see you. Let me see if I can do that crazy landmine trick. I don't know if I can pull it off, though. No. There are people who can consistently do landmines with Reaper Dash. I could never figure it out. This is still a good battle theme. I like this battle theme. But I would say playing Claire Obscure has, like, dropped this game down a little bit further in my mind with the way Claire plays and Metaphor played. But every time I hear this song... Every time I hear this song, this is a good song. I had to go when you were the... Yeah! Stoat. Let me tell you. I walked in with 191 feeling confident. I felt confident in 191 Stoke. You know what the game gave me? Gloom 92, Gloom 93, Gloom 94, Gloom 95, Gloom 96. I think no items somewhere around there for 97, or no items 98, and I wiped the 98. And we're not just saying it was just Gloom. Like, we're talking Ability Gloom, Blind Gloom, no item Gloom. Like, it was an insane loadout of debuffs. I think I actually still have the thing on Discord. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So, 192 was no items, Gloom, damage down. 193 was ability down, no healing, Gloom. 94 was Gloom. 95 was low HP, no knockback, Gloom. And the low HP was brutal because the low HP forced me into a steal situation when I wasn't picking up any. And then 96 was no item, Gloom. 97 was haste, no healing, Gloom. And then 98 was no item, ability down. That's where I wiped. Like, and I was not picking up a lot of steel, so I had to be very careful where I was using that steel, and I just didn't get enough. Sometimes I know that a run is doomed and just curious how exactly it went. Those are the runs that I think benefit you guys the most, though, to be fair. Like, those are the ones you guys probably want to see. About how I try to handle it, how we try to just navigate as much as we can. Because even if you get half of that, that's probably still valuable to you. Game was like, no. Game gave me exactly what I didn't need to see. When I needed to rely on steel a little bit more. Like, okay, Reaper, I can get away with a lot of Reaper without steel. Like, I can try to figure it out, and we can try to just gameplay it, but when you give me Gloom, that option is removed out of my playbook. Because even if I try to kite something, even if I try to just manipulate stagger kiting, you're still getting trucked like crazy. Because they have high movement speed. So it's just a really, really bad combo there. I'm out of here. So how do we feel about Gloom? Just Gloom in 191 plus, that's all I'd be concerned about. Give me Gloom in 181, it's fine. Just not 191 plus, man. And not 6 times in a row. There was only one other time, and this was actually recent, maybe within the past year. I did a Heaven on High run on Warrior, and we literally got Gloom from 92 to 99. I have never seen that in my life. That Gloom existed on every single floor climbing up. We still cleared, but that was incredible. Incredible. Safe to say also that I played this game quite a bit, and I've done a lot of deep dungeons, so for me to see that first time ever, it says a lot. But to me, that's part of the fun of deep dungeon. You'll just get something like that happening. You just get those occurrences, you'll get those weird things. Just statistically speaking, you should get those type of runs at some point, and I love when I see them. Look, it's very comfortable when we have the victory lap, and I just kind of stroll to the exit. Like, that's a lot of fun, for sure. But like I said, it doesn't benefit you guys if you're trying to go for your first clear. And I would prefer it to be that stressful, because it really makes it a lot of fun for me. It makes a lot of fun for you guys. But I don't manipulate my runs much. I don't try to do things that are outside of kind of what the game's giving me. So we just deal with whatever the game decides to give me. If the game decides to give me the win, then we take the win. If the game decides to give me a loss, then I will try my best to go against the game's decisions. I still remember you saying in one of your PoTD guides, once you die to everything, then you just clear. Yeah, it's a quote that a lot of people like to quote, and it's true. Keep remembering that doing any deep on prog whenever I died to the most stupid takes the first time. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a problem when you die to the same thing twice, right? But still, even Deep Dungeon, the same thing isn't necessarily that simple. Because you are put into different situations, maybe you're thinking about something else. Like, the one thing that you probably don't want to repeat multiple times is dying to a silver chest. It feels embarrassing, it feels stupid, it's definitely something that is in your control. But I gotta tell you, man, I think everyone needs to die to a silver chest at least once before it registers. You can talk to a new player nearly, who's never done Deep Dungeon before, and you can be like, bro, don't open the silver chest below 70% HP, okay? They're like, okay, I get it. They don't get it until they die to it. It's just a rite of passage, you know? Sometimes it just be like that. You gotta take the hit to make the lesson. It just comes down to, you know, are you able to execute thereafter? Are you able to still get to the goal after learning that mistake? That's what's important. Okay. I've heard a lot of people quote that. I should say that more often. I mean, it is true. It really is true. Because that I feel that was my progression in Palace specifically. You learn so many of those weird ways to die, you know? From the Morbles to the slimes exploding to the worm enrages. It's like, it puts fear into you because you just don't want to die to that again. So therefore you've learned, you've made progression. I mean, you may die to it again, but at least you know it's there now. A friend of mine was doing EO. And she triggered an owl trap into a bomb from the silver chest. That happened. It's like, oh no! And she died. Did she die immediately? Is that what happened? Like, she died immediately? Hey, Crypty. I learned some things that way to really internalize why it's bad and build a muscle memory to be careful with some... Yeah. Yeah. I had, I think it's a clip on this channel. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this clip. Can I filter by views clip thing? Hello? There we go. Hi. Okay, this one. I was gonna verbalize it, but instead I'd rather just show it to you. This has only happened once to me. And I walked into a silver chest, and the moment I hit the silver chest, I hit a toad trap. But because the toad trap technically happened after the silver chest snapshotted my HP when I had full HP, which would have been 70% of my full HP. But then the frog trap dropped me to 70% HP, so it one-shot me. Never ever had that happen before, and so ever since then, even if I don't have anything on me, I will always step up to a silver chest and wait 2 seconds before I open it. That was my pandemic here. I think that was when it was like month 2 of like the pandemic, and I hadn't done anything with my hair yet. It's wild. Yeah, and that's what made me think of it. That sequence of events that is very, very rare to happen, but it happens. And yeah, I know exactly what she feels. I get it, man. sight. Hope you're doing well, Crypty, by the way. Oh, you're not dead. Also, dying deep dungeon feels bad when you need then, because you then need to go through 5 to 6 hours of prepping the next attempt. It does. It does to some extent. Yes, yes, yes. Doing good, just vibing? Hell yeah. Always love the vibing. Me too, I'm just vibing. Until things get stressful, then I'm no longer vibing. Which one is easier to start practicing solo? Which one is easier to start practicing solo in my opinion? You mean between the 3 deep dungeons? Is that what you're asking? Or do you mean a job situation? Between the 3 deep dungeon. Okay. So, it's a little bit of a twofold question. Twofold answer. Before Eureka Orthos came out, I would definitely say Heaven on High is a solid way to start. And the reason why you would say Heaven on High is because of how fast it gets to the harder things. Because it does. I mean, it's 100 floors, and you get to more difficult things faster, and that knowledge definitely carries into Palace, because Palace and Heaven on High are very similar to each other. Now, nowadays, one of the things I would say is that, let's say you're a new player. No, not necessarily a new player. Let's say you're someone who's never done Deep Dungeon before, but you're a little bit of a veteran. So a new player to Deep Dungeon, but never done it before. But you've done a lot of raids, especially, like, let's say Eden. Let's say Pandemonium, and then now in the current tier. And you're used to like 90 kit, you're used to 100 kit. Well, it might be jarring to drop down to a 60 and a 70 kit because you're missing quite a lot of things. But Eureka Orthos is a little bit more like the Pandemonium baits in terms of their fight design, in terms of what you expect. So there would be a little bit of familiarity to it, and therefore, in that respect, I would kind of be like, hey, you know, maybe give EO a try because it'll feel familiar. You'll know your rotation, you'll kind of recognize like boss mechanics, boss patterns, and everything, and it'll be closer to a raid to you in that respect. Whereas Heaven on High is going to be a very, very different experience. And again, especially if you've never touched it before. So it would be a decent way to start EO, because even though EO feels different than Heaven on High and PO in terms of how it's executed, the things that you learn in there, time management, commander management, aggro management, are all going to carry over into the other deep dungeons, hands down. And heck, I mean, you may even like EO better than the other two because of that familiarity, which I know there's a lot of people who like EO more than the other two. So it's not 33. No, it's not Monday. It's a Monday, man. How's your CL, your solo CL going without spoilers? How's it going so far? I'm sure I've asked this before, but what would you like to see in the next deep dungeon? You don't have to give a long answer. I want it to be harder. That's it. I just want it to be more difficult. I want it so that we don't get a solo clear in under 24 hours. That's what I want. It was almost like Whiplash when EO was cleared in under 24 hours solo. But then when you understood the reasoning why that even happened, you understand why. Like it wasn't necessarily to say that the deep dungeon was easier at that point in time. It's just knowledge was power, and the way that it was cleared required knowledge which existed. Palace and Heaven on High, if those got released fresh, I don't think you cleared in under 24, even with knowledge. It's got 75. I think I can easily beat the game, but I want to try 2 bosses. Well, gotcha. You're gonna become a parry master, dude. How does that feel? I'm like excited, but also still, I'm like, my motivation right now is just a little low. So I'm still excited to do the no-hit run. I just hope by the time I get there, I will still be up for it. But I don't even have another game I want to play right now, so... my only issue. Parry the platypus mat. That's right, exactly. Or parry the fridge, or a good buddy parry the fridge. What's up, Mr. Gims? Feels like I suck at the game. I've been learning, man. You know, I think you're pretty damn good. I think right now you definitely have more game time in it, so I think you're just gonna execute better than me, but it's not an easy thing to execute at all. The bomb animal trap just kind of sneak up on you. Hey, Curiosity. It does kind of just sneak up on you, yeah. I mean, at the time from my clip, I just never saw that before, so it is never a consideration that could actually happen. Now I know, but yeah, it was never a consideration initially. I think I missed the other one. Coughing on my lungs, good thing those aren't needed. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear. Hope you get better. Also, the problem with soloing is the bosses that they like using shields, so it's annoying. I didn't know either, and I have done so many runs to group Deep Dungeon, so it's surprising. It's what I love finding in Deep Dungeon, those weird occurrences that you've never seen before, and they just exist, they've always existed. It's just, you just need kind of a perfect storm to make it happen. I love it. Slice, slice. Alright, 100 down in under 2 hours, not bad. Although, although a machinist speedrun can go 1 to 100 in under 2 hours, but that's a different story altogether. Alright, I gotta hit ads here. So another set of ads. Our goal is 140 today, so we're going to 140 today. I like that breakup when we did it last time, so we'll go to 140. So thank you guys for watching. 3 minutes on Twitch, a little less than that on YouTube. I'll see you in a little bit. BRB. Okay, let's go. Maybe I'll food up. Maybe I'll use some food now. Gonna head to bed. Hey, Guardios. Nice chatting with you. Have a good night. No. No. Game. Speaking of things I've never seen before in Deep Dungeon. That reminds me, the other day I had an enemy randomly reset mid-combat and I still have no clue why I did that. So, our best explanation why that happens, Rory, did it happen because you were hugging a wall, by chance? Were you like near a wall, or hugging a wall, or running along a wall? I was near a wall. So the best explanation I can give you, one, I've tried to duplicate this. I can't duplicate it on the spot. I know our buddy Biftech said he was able to duplicate it on the lower floors. What happens is that the pathing of the enemy, for some reason, will do it where it brings it out of bounds. And because it brings it out of bounds, then technically it's out of range of you, so it resets. Why it goes out of bounds, I don't know. That's just the explanation I can provide you. I mean, you know, like, I don't know if you've seen it in Palace of the Dead before, where a specific Palace in 151, where you see enemies that are literally in the wall. Like, there's a specific wall where you'll have enemies that actually can walk into the wall. And I think in that wall, which players cannot go into, I think that's technically out of bounds. And if it does that, then it means it doesn't have contact with you, so it resets. Because an enemy will reset if it gets... An enemy mechanically will reset if it gets too far away from you. And we know that from Sleep Tech. 2 rooms away, it resets, right? So that's the best explanation I can give you. And think of it this way. I don't think any of us has ever seen an enemy reset in the middle of a room. It always happens along the wall. So... Again, take that explanation as you will. That's just my best one I can give you, and that's it. I mean, if we can duplicate it, great, but I don't think anyone's ever been able to duplicate it. What's up, Henry? Happy Monday. I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing well. I would absolutely believe something like that. Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like I wouldn't outright advise you to like just not run along the walls, because of course you will. I mean, there might be specific walls that you have to watch out for, but I couldn't tell you which ones those were. I can tell you like 31 to 40 Palace of the Dead maybe, but that's about it. I've had it happen in Palace once. I've had it happen in Heaven on High like once. But it wouldn't ever change my strategy of what I'm doing. It's just one of those things you're just like, oh man, come on! Like, you're just pissed off at it, but you just kind of shrug your shoulders because it's like, you probably couldn't do that again and replicate it if you wanted to. I can't even remember which floor it was on. It was just low enough that it... Yeah. Yeah, that's the best explanation I can give you why that even happens. And take into consideration too, for whatever reason, ever since 7.0 or 7.1, there have been invisible walls showing up in Heaven on High. So I don't know if that has a factor in it too. Like, invisible walls that jut out of the wall. Like, okay, let's just say that there's an invisible wall here. Like, it would make me stuck here, and I'd have to go around this way to make that happen. That exists in the lower floors in Heaven on High. So, like, that could also be a factor. And now why they exist, I don't know. I don't even know why the level design would ever change. But it's there, because I would have seen it before, so... I don't think I kill this in time. Nope. I'll take the box. Oh, come on. 1%. Brutal. Let me check the oh, nope. Okay. Oh, I didn't have the witching! I'm so dumb! The witching is right there! That's the part that I'll never get in my head. I just lose that kind of association there. The soundtrack reminds me of Basil Goose from OST from Monster Hunter. The one you're listening to right now, the one before. The one right now is from Stranger Paradise, and I believe it's a... Oh my god, I just did the landmine thing. No way. How did I manage to do that? What? Okay, well now you have me curious, because I kind of want to try to see if I can replicate that. It's like a remix of one of the, I think, FF3, Mount Gold, I believe. Okay, can I replicate whatever the hell I just did? Let's see. Because I clearly just did a landmine and I didn't get hit with it, but how the hell did I do that? Maybe I walked along the edge of it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's gonna be this one thing that I'll never be able to do. I can only do it when I unintentionally do it, I guess. The previous one. What is the previous one? Previous one was... Oh, that was battle... This one? That's, the battle... It's called literally battle, because I think it's the FF1 battle, but it's remixed in 14. I wonder if the corner was involved. That's what I thought. I tried to go in the corner there. Or unless you mean because I hug around a corner. But I think a landmine will hit things through the wall. I think. I mean, that's hard to... Okay, should be okay. Bro, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Okay, wait. Refresh if needed. Refresh if needed. Okay, that was weird. And I'll tell you why it's weird, because look, I have historic internet issues. Like, anyone who's been here longer than 4 months would know I have historic internet issues. When the thing went down, when I saw Gim say F, I looked, I'm like, okay, it's dead. So I look at my bitrate, I look at my OBS, and it's just sitting 0. I'm like, okay, I'll just wait for it to come back like it always does. And it's been, and then Rory says something, is to run in danger. I'm like, no, but the bitrate still says 0. So I go to do a speed test to see what's up. Speed test is giving me my normal upload speed, and the moment I finish the speed test, OBS goes back up at normal speed. What happened? I didn't even feel it in game. I've never seen that before. I've seen lots of things. I never saw that before. It's like I had to kick it in the butt just to like reactivate. Weird. Anyway, we're back. Thank you for your patience. We'll have a little bit of a gap on the VOD, but who cares? It's the lower floor, so I don't care. Well, okay, on the topic of the network. Alright, guys? So, if you don't know, like I mentioned, I have historic internet issues. And one of the funniest parts was that when I first started streaming, we were talking about, like, why I started streaming to begin with, and my reasoning for streaming and everything. But, well, one of the things I had to deal with was a constant internet issue. And before, in the past, there used to be a situation where my internet would just die for 15 minutes. 15 minutes! And it would come back later. And let me tell you, when you're trying to build an audience and a consistent viewership, and when your stream dies every single stream in the middle of the stream, doesn't help. Eventually, because of the pandemic, my internet actually kind of gets fixed. Kind of gets fixed. Because, lo and behold, I remember this conversation I had with the tech person when this happened. I go, hey, look, my internet's bad. I'm trying to do business here, you know? And they're like, you know what? We hear you. We've heard a lot of complaints about people having really bad upload. And this is what I was complaining for like 2 years, and they never believed me. I'm like, my upload's bad. My download's fine. My upload's bad. They never believed me. But you know why? Because of the pandemic. But you know why because of the pandemic? Because everyone is on Zoom calls, and you can't do a Zoom call without an upload. So lo and behold, the infrastructure sucks because no one can do a goddamn Zoom call because everyone's doing a Zoom call. Oh, there's a problem. Yeah. No crap, there's a problem. I've only been telling it to you forever. You could have had it before. Anyway, the moment that happened, it was a 6-month fix. It took them 6 months, but they actually fixed it. And this was back in 2021, by the way. So this is a while back, right? 2020, 2021. And I've been having still intermittent issues overall, and I kept asking them. Asking. Hey, is fiber available? Is fiber available? Is fiber available? Over the weekend, I call them up again because I look at a coverage chart for my area. And it says my area... Like, what's really funny, my street, but not the street across from me, but my street is supposed to have fiber. So I call up the tech over the weekend. I'm like, hey, I want to find out if I have fiber available for my area for like the umpteenth time. I didn't say that part, but it's like the umpteenth time, right? And they're like, okay, we'll go take a look. And the guy who sounds really cool, like he sounded like he was first and foremost in America, which helps because if it's outsourced, then I don't know if I get an answer. He goes, well, it looks like there's a node about 100, like about 600 feet from you, and a splicer about 1,000 feet from you, but it doesn't seem like it reaches your area quite yet. I'm like, 600 feet? I have fiber 600 feet away, and I still don't have fiber? That's in my head, right? And I did like the math on mileage, and it's like 0.1 miles away. I'm like, dude, come on, man. It's right there. So he goes, okay, so I put a thing in, and the internet service might come around, knock on the door, and check things out. Today, not the internet service, the power company comes in, knocks on the door. And I'm like, oh my god, is there actually progress that fiber might actually happen? So that's where I'm sitting at right now, and I'm crossing my fingers that maybe finally, after all this time, I'll probably have fiber. We shall see. And it'll solve it'll solve like all the issues. I mean, maybe it's even worse, but like maybe it'll solve just so many issues, and I will never have to worry about internet issues. I can actually apply for the goddamn front page, so I don't have to worry about my internet dropping. It's like, you know. It's funny because I live in South America and internet services work exactly the same. Even the thing works across the street, but not, it's so crazy. Well, what happened in my area, Trick, was Verizon, a big American company. Literally in the early 2000s, they were contracted to wire my entire town with fiber. In the 2000s. But they did half the job and then didn't continue it. Because whatever, something fell through or something like that. So Verizon, which is not the one I'm using, that is not the internet service that I have. I use the other one, the competitor, because Verizon doesn't exist on my area. Like, we could have had fiber so long ago. It just didn't happen. And now I've had to suffer for all this time. Anyway, that's my story. You guys are getting a lot of lore out of me. I hope you like it. You need any more lore? I can talk about any more lore if you want me to talk about it. We still got 35 more floors to go. Okay, going this way. Okay. A couple years ago, I had bad upload issues and my ISP crews fixed it, going so far as to tell them to replace all my devices, but unfortunately, I actually had another ISP option available. I can't even threaten that. I don't have another ISP option available. That would have been my first thing to do, man. I'll hop it over. Yeah. Yeah, I wish. It'd be so easy, dude, but yeah. Yeah, and it's just upload for me. That's it. That's why a lot of times, like, I would say 9 out of 10 times, if you see my stream drop doing a deep dungeon run, I'm probably still finding it on the run. 9 out of 10. The only time in which that doesn't actually happen is if I lose power. Then everything's dead. But very rarely has a connection issue based on my ISP that kicked out my stream ever actually kicked me out of game. Like, it's very rare. Wish fiber, dude, I've been wishing for it for, my god, 6 years now? Plus? Maybe I actually get it sometime soon. Crossing my fingers. I remember having problems with packet loss. And everyone I would call would be like, what the fuck is up? Oh my god. You know, that was actually, Trick, one of my ways out of, like, me getting them to understand what the hell is going on. Because I would tell them, oh, my connection is bad. And they're like, oh, okay, let me check your speed. Oh, your download seems fine. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm streaming. Well, your download seems fine, so you should be fine with streaming. No, not that streaming. Not Netflix. Twitch. What the hell's Twitch? But then when I say, hey, I'm getting packet loss, can you check my packets? They actually go through another process of checking packets, and it's like, oh, okay. And like, if I get a good tech, they'll see that, right? Which it means getting a good tech, but yeah. Packet loss was the one that is undeniable, because you could see packet loss. I certainly get that vibe out here that, like, unless it's a significant problem affecting multiple people, they would prefer not to have to deal with it. They would prefer to send a tech down to waste their time to replace the modem, because at least it looks like they did something, which is so sinister, in my opinion. Yeah, it's really bad. Because I feel like if they're forced to fix it, they have to fix it, but then they're forced to fix it. It's almost like rolling their eyes to fix a problem. Which is, you know, I don't know, do your job, I guess. I pay you for this job, so do the damn job. I remember telling a tech guy one time, Rory, because I had been calling them like once a month. I'm like, guys, I would really prefer not to call you guys over. I'm sure you would rather do something else. Like, you know, I'm not bullshitting that I have a bad connection, but boy, would I really prefer it to just get fixed so you guys don't have to come over here. You know what the tech guy told me? Hey man, it's our job. You call us and we come over. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, that's great that you're loyal to your job, but isn't that still like really stupid that you're coming over just like to do nothing? I mean, I don't understand. You know, I guess you're getting paid per commission. I guess that's fine, but no, that's like not the right attitude I was expecting there. Job security? Yeah, like potholes. Yeah. The situation with potholes. Job security. By not improving pavement technology, you increase the chance of people blowing their tires out, you increase the chance of people filling potholes, so you have more jobs. Brilliant. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I had my internet just drop for 1 to 5 minutes at a time every couple hours. Took months to convince the ISP something was wrong. Yeah, Rory, when I had my internet issues early in, like we're talking like 2019, 2020, early in, we were talking about, okay, the hardest part about this, and I don't know like if it was also similar to you, it was intermittent, which was massively annoying because it's like they had to be there for the problem for them to see the problem. And every time I called someone over, the problem wouldn't be happening. So it's like, oh, you don't see a problem. It's like, yeah, you don't see it right now, but I swear to God, it's happening. But my thing was so wild because it would happen literally, I kid you not, 1 minute after the hour, 16 minutes after the hour, 31 minutes after the hour, 46 minutes after the hour, and it would be down for exactly 15 minutes, and it would come back up. It was very, very consistent. It's just you couldn't predict the time in which it happened, but it was always at the same time of the hour for 15 minutes. And 2 years and 1 pandemic it took for them to actually fix it. Really, the pandemic was all it took. just the pandemic. Just one measly pandemic. For them to fix my internet. They wouldn't acknowledge my intermittent issues until it happened. Yeah. It was so frustrating. And I would call them right away. Guys, it's happening right now. Can you please see it? Nope, and then it would fix itself. Oh man, the frustrations, dude. Oh boy, I do not miss any of it. Problems only happen sometimes are the scariest part. Yeah, because it's hard to diagnose. And like, I hope like, if I ever have a problem, they like look at my history and I'm like, bro, there's a history to this account. Like, look at the damn history. Read the history and then go from there. That's it. That's all I need to tell you. Before you get, yeah, precisely, yeah. It's, man. You're the second one to say that. I stream 14 every Monday. I've been doing it for like a year plus now. What's up, Loken? How you doing? Is that gonna be my reputation now? I'm just gonna be an Expedition 33 streamer? Is that what you guys will know me for from here on out? The rage? Wow. Sorry, man. I get a little excited. I apologize. Where's that chest that I just opened? Oh, it's over here. The one where I finally dropped them was after showing the tech a graph of hundreds of speed tests and then still... Yeah, because they won't use your tech. They won't use your stuff because they have to use their equipment. I remember asking that too. I'm like, hey, I got equipment that I can detect stuff. I mean, can I show it to you? And they're like, no, we have to use our equipment. I'm like, oh, right. Good. I mean, I understood that from some extent. I could be BSing them, and they can't take my word for it. Okay. Zero problems in switching them off. Good. Glad. Bless. I'll just do the rage here. I don't know where I'm gonna go, so I'm just gonna go this way. Hopefully you're able to get fiber and also solve problems. I hope. I know that fiber isn't a perfect solution. Like, I'm not saying it's like, it is the solution, right? But my thinking and my logic here, Rory, whenever my upload speed drops, it goes to like, even, like, okay, I'm supposed to have like 50 upload. Most of the time I have like half that. Okay, fine, I don't care. I just need 8,000. That's all. I just need 8,000 upload because 8,000 upload is fine for streaming. I don't need any more than that. So if I get fiber speed, which then pushes it up to even like what 500, even if you dip it down to like 90%, that's 50. That's still way more than I need for streaming. Like, I don't care if it's like awful. At least it's gonna probably be still better than the old copper wires that we're using, right? At least that's my logic. That's my optimistic thought process onto it. It still has to be better than whatever the hell I have now. And like, I really would like to... I really would like to apply for front page when Deep Dungeon shows up. Because every month you can apply for the front page, and I would apply for like, what, a Wednesday or Thursday? Not a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I would probably go for a Thursday. I want to do that for the first time. But boy, if I have the internet issues that are just in the back of my head the entire time, I'm gonna be so paranoid. And I'm sure luck will have it that I pop open my front page stream and my internet's trash. It's like, great, this is your impression of me. Wonderful. Enjoy the non-show. You know? I was paying for 30 upload and getting 1 to 3? That's, yeah, I can't even stream like that. Like, fiber on the low end is probably, what, like, 300 at the low end? And that's fine. I don't need any more than that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what one upload feels like, let me tell you. I know exactly what one upload feels like. That's when you see the stream die. 505 same price. Oh, it's so good. bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I mean, I don't need a lot of internet. I really don't. I just need something that just works. That's it. That's all I ask for. Just give me internet that works. I don't notice. I don't notice if it dips at all. Just because. I don't notice if it dips at all because it's just so much. Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping for. That's exactly what I'm hoping for as a solution. Is that look, you don't. Okay, like they always say, right? We can't guarantee full service. Fine. I'm not asking you for full service. I'm just asking you for it to work. I don't care if like 80% of the year you're operating at 30% capacity. Right? I'm not gonna go and complain that I'm only getting 30%. I'm not gonna go and be like a jerk and be like, oh, I'm only paying for 30% capacity for this. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not gonna do that. It's just let me do my job without a problem. That's all I ask for, man. Am I running speed tests when the internet is working properly? Yeah. Yeah. I would love to remove the tab that I have open for a speed test, which I keep open forever. Because anytime something like this happens, I go there. Okay, to the boss. Hey, who that? Ayla, Vermilion, thank you for the Prime Gaming. Thank you for supporting the stream. I very much appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Means a lot. Means a lot. I'm doing alright. Thanks for asking. I'm doing alright. But I'm glad you're doing well. How's PTD as Reaper? Great. You know, prior to the last 2 weeks where we did a Reaper run, but we unfortunately died on 198, I had not done Reaper for like 3 years. It's just, I just never got to it. And there wasn't really any reason for me to do it. There was no like update or anything. But it is just as good as it was like 3 years ago. It's still a really good pick for Palace of the Dead. Very, very strong melee job. Has a lot of tools that are very good for Deep Dungeon. It's great. Honestly, you know, the only positive I could take away from wiping last week is I get to do it again. I get another 2 weeks on Reaper, so I mean I can't necessarily complain. My next job I'm looking at is Summoner, but you know, we'll do it when this is done. Oh, so many attempts on one. Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Do you think you're gonna stick with Machinist? Do you think you might try some other job? Machinist is still great. At least on paper, it's still a really great job and a really great pick. I'm gonna lurk and eat dinner and do that. Oh, good luck! I'm gonna do that later, I think, too, Rory. So good luck to you, and I hope you succeed in MOC. I did like the first 2. I'm gonna do the last 2, I think, tonight. Try so. Ooh, nice! Okay. I hope you have a good journey with that one. Hopefully, you won't need my Summoner run, because, like I said, I'm gonna do Summoners soon, but hopefully you won't need that run. But I wish you the best of luck. Keep me posted on how it goes. Guys, I got to hit an ad here. So ads are going out. Again, our goal is 140. We got 30 more floors to go. Thank you guys for joining me. And thank you for sticking around from that internet issue, and I'll see you in a little bit. BRB, we'll continue. Let me food up. Do I have a strength here? I do. Ooh, and the steal. I'm on Heaven on High 80 save with Summoner, but you're scared? I mean, look, those things hit really hard. 300 times at this point? Okay, maybe 301 would be good. Mix in some of my bots too if it helps. But, now you got this. If you die, look, I've seen people die on the very first enemy they walk into, and it might feel very embarrassing. It might feel very just discouraging, but one, you won't be the first, and you just take it as a learning lesson. It is what it is. It is what it is, so... It's such a weird thing, because honestly, like, the best way to get through that is just to go in and die. or approach it like you're going to die. Like, you know what? I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die horribly in this floor set. I'm just going to go in. Let's see what happens. You might surprise yourself. You may prove yourself right, but you also may surprise yourself. Good. It's a good attitude to have. Every run is a good lesson. Every run you pick something up and you just take it with you and apply it to the next run. Oh, that's a safe one. Oh no! What happened? Was it like you tapped out, or did you just like make a mistake and like just died? You timed out? Shit. No, it happens. Okay, it happens. It happens. That's really good though. How are your palms going into? Do you remember? Into that 98? Like, how are the palms looking? What is your loadout from what you remember? If anything, if you remember the wipes. Here's the exit. I got hit with 4 floors in a row. Ooh. Oh. Had like almost no good ones left. Wow, okay, so you had nothing. You had almost an empty loadout. 4 rows of amnesia. And you made it to 98. Look, you gotta pat yourself on the back for that one. That's really, really good. Like that's awesome. Like if you had something to help you out with, just imagine. You gotta take that as a positive. Nearly says, a couple times I would say, damn, this stupid mob killed me. Then I cool down, analyze it, and realize I actually did a couple mistakes prior, sometimes even on the previous floor. Yep. That's the best way to prog. I think a lot of people... Yo, what up, Breezy? I think a lot of people... And I don't see this as much. I saw this in the early days. They'd be like, oh man, you know, 81 is so hard. How do you get through 81? Like, 81 is just... Things that hit so hard. I'm running out of time. But they don't tell the full story, because some of those people who walk into 81 don't have palms. They're emptied out. And it's like, well, if I walked into 81 with no palms, I would think it's hard as hell. I would probably time out, and I would probably just die. You know? When you're progging through Heaven on a High, what you want to get to is you walk into 81 with literally, almost literally a full loadout. Like, you want 3 of everything at that point, you know? Well, that sucks. And if you're not walking with a full loadout, then your answer isn't about how to get through 81. It's how do you fix 71? How do you clean up 71 so you walk in with better palms? That's your solution, you know? And sometimes that is how you have to look at it. It isn't really necessarily the floor number that you're working on, or the floor right in front of you. It could be the one behind you. Yo, what up, Aurora? It's our buddy Aurora Moon. My alert's dead? Why are my alerts dead? Oh, there we go. Yo, what up, Aurora? How was your stream, man? Conjure re-cleared. What I always expect out of Mr. Aurora. Nothing stops him. Not a disconnect. Who cares? He goes right back in. We got... Oh, okay. Damn. It's okay. You know what? He won in my heart. It's fine. Hey, Pug. Welcome in, guys. Andrew's Limit is here. We are setting up a Reaper run for today, so it's been pretty chill. We've been having some great conversations, so if you want to talk Deep Dungeon, now is the time. 0 wipes last 2 sets. We got fried. Damn. But you still made it to 96? I mean, it's amazing. Rem Deep earlier says, I lost the level 80 boss. My palms on steel ran out and I didn't notice. The boss was almost dead too. What a kick in the you-know-what. I had that happen to me in Godfather. I'm sure a lot of the guys in Deep Dungeon who probably hopped in here just now have probably had a situation where they were doing Godfather or some other boss and you just didn't know that your steel dropped and then you just got obliterated. Yeah, I've been there. It sucks. But it's part of the challenge, I suppose. But guys, check out Aurora Moon, the healer master when it comes to Deep Dungeon. If you guys need anything on healers, and now I think we could crown him the class master as well. Any classes too. He's gonna put on a good show for you. One of the most talented runners in the community, and you just don't want to miss a run with him. He's a really good man, and he plays the game. I would say plays the game very differently than I do, which is great because you see a very varied perspective on how to accomplish your runs. And when you're trying to go for your clear, that's something you probably want to see. You want to see different looks at the run. And he's going to give you a very different look at what he can showcase to you guys. So be sure to check him out. Class Master makes me sick. What happened to my... Master Class. This is what you forge yourself into now. You're no longer the Healer Master, you're the Class Master. I mismanaged my palms thinking I'm running out of time while my time is fine. It's also a learning experience when the testing. Also, while you grind back the higher floors, you learn to do it faster and save time. Do things more efficiently so it takes less time. Yep, exactly, nearly, exactly. Let's check the chest with me. Claster. What's up, Darabon, by the way? Good morning to you, sir. Thurin, hello, good to see you. So when are we gonna redo the Conjurer? Is that gonna be like Wednesday? Or are you gonna itch for it tomorrow? You think, Aurora? And if you gotta do any post-stream stuff, please, by all means, if you gotta get your microwave fries and stuff, do what you gotta do. Bit of progress in DC Reachers. 5 resets on Reclear Day. Fails. 2 fails in following days. Okay. So that was Congestion Day, so you were trying to see if Congestion Day mean it didn't work, right? How do you approach as Reaper on floors 110 plus? Do you hold 3 to everything until you get a dupe? Except Strength. Strength I'll be kind of aggressive on. I'll open with a Strength, but then I'll kind of just like, yeah, I'll kind of wait till Duplicate comes in. I think 141 plus, well, I think I would start proactively using some palms by like, maybe 170, if not 180. But Reaper kills so fast that it's just about keeping the pace and keeping the speed moving. That's what I try to focus on the run. I mean, look, we're on 110 plus, right? So you're gonna see it in action in real time about how we do things. You can see my time as we go through. Only thing I've used right now is a Strength. We picked up a Steel, we picked up a Flight. Didn't really do much else after that. Of course, it needs more testing, and so happens that it's Reclear tomorrow again. Reaper's a bit awkward as AoE is worth it for like 4+ mobs. Yeah, if you AoE, I don't AoE. So no need for me to AoE. I think it's... I mean, unless you're going for scoring, of course. Reaper's strong enough just to rip things apart one at a time. You got the damage on Shank to full single tail. Yep. It's very good damage. Again, you'll see us fly through these floors. 50 minutes, halfway through the set. Nowadays, what's the best melee to try in PoTD? I like Reaper. I think Reaper still stands pretty tall with the melee. Viper certainly is an experience. But I would say for Palace of the Dead, Reaper's up there. Ninja, I would say, is still up there, although I feel like it's more potent in Heaven on High than it is in Palace, but it's still up there. Samurai is strong, although weaker defense, but it is strong. And I do like Dragoon, but I think I would still kind of pick out on Reaper as my first choice. Viper is just average. Like, Viper can clear for sure, but to me it's just average. It doesn't really it's like a jack of all trades in a way. It doesn't really specialize in anything. Unlike the other classes have some type of specialty to them. Viper doesn't have defense. Viper doesn't have dashing kiting. It's just simple rotation, you know, so... Now, like, if you really like Viper, I said this before, I don't want to necessarily sway you away from the job if that's something you want to play. You should certainly try it first before anything else. But that's my opinion on it. That's just what I experienced. All sent in limbo. Yo, let's go. Rage. Okay. Steel. I'll just use a steel. Hey Tony, how you doing? What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Just beat Simon. Nice, let's go. Hope the gaming on your end overall has been fun and thrilling. Another question. How do you handle mimics on 151+? Do you just accept you'll get boxed? I think up to 171, you might be able to still get away with witching them. But I'll only witching them if I had 3 witching. So you witching one of them, so you can kill it in 30 seconds so you don't get the pox. But other than that, yeah, you just kind of live with the pox. If I have 3 purity, I will tend to use the purity. But if I only have 2, I will hold on to the purity unless there's some very, very important circumstance in which I need to use the purity, which is whether I need to rage or a boss is coming up, then I'll use the purity. But more than likely, you're going to have to just live with the pox, so you just kind of live with the pox. No, I'll do it on the way out. At least as a tank, we can handle the mix, yes. And a fizz range. One important piece of strategy is to embrace the mimics and cherish them. Well, I think more specifically, you want to be able to handle mimics without steal as high as you can go. Like I maybe can handle a mimic 191+ on Reaper without steal. And if you get to that point, that's really important to pull off. Really important to pull off. I mean, it mitigates your steal, but you're probably going to see mimics, so you can't really fear them. You have to just deal with them. Steal again. Strength. No auto heal disable. I'll just use steal now. I don't know how I'll come back here. I think I don't aggro the Morbol. Depends on what you struggle with. Heaven on high mobs hit harder. In order of difficulty to clear, is Heaven on high easier than the other two? I mean, it's like another way people have asked me is what do I think is the hardest deep dungeon? And to me, the answer to that is always going to be Palace of the Dead. But the only reason I give it Palace of the Dead is that it's 200 floors, Behemoth and Godfather exists. In that category, I think Palace is harder, but also it's a difficulty enough that puts it above the other two. Heaven on High, as Mr. Darabon says, things hit you way harder in Heaven on High, more than any other deep dungeon at all. The thing that helps people, and why it ends up becoming a recommendation to probably do Heaven on High as maybe one of your first deep dungeons for EO, it's more the floor set, because you want to kind of condition yourself in that hyperbolic chamber of difficult content. So if you're conditioned to deal with things that are trucking you for an enormous amount of HP, but you're getting there on a regular basis, as opposed to Palace of the Dead, where it could take you 2, 3, 4 days just to get to the harder things, you're going to learn Deep Dungeon in general faster in Heaven on High. You can get to the high floors in Heaven on High in like 1 day, generally speaking. So the progression is going to be a little bit faster. But doesn't necessarily mean that it's easier. If anything, Heaven on High is a lot more radical when it comes to RNG. I think between the three Deep Dungeons, Heaven on High has the most insane RNG than the rest of them. In terms of how you handle your palms, in terms of how the palms come at you. It does that, so they're difficult in different ways. But, you know, again, asking my opinion, that's how I put it to you. Yo, what up, Breezy? They hit you hard. What up, Cog? Each will find their own difficulty, but I like to say that Heaven on High has the strongest tools, while Palace has the hardest lose conditions. That's an interesting way to put it. Hey, Cog. How was V-Rising? I was seeing you do a little V-Rising earlier. Hope you had fun with that game. That's a game I got hesitant on pulling the trigger on. Like, it seemed okay, but... like, it seemed like it was up a couple of genres that I like, but nah, I don't think I'd pull the trigger on that game, but I hope you had a good time with it. Thanks for shouting out Mr. Cog NTV, our good buddy over there. He does Deep Dungeon runs as well, but he's been doing quite a lot of variety and playing a lot of free games on his end that he's been giving the keys to, so V-Rising was just the next one on the list, and it was a good time. Perfect, good to see you once again. The only thing Heaven on High doesn't teach you is how well to deal with proximity mob spam. Teaches you line of sighting, though. That's one thing it's good at, it teaches you line of sighting. But yeah, you don't have too much proximity enemies. I mean, only Palace will teach you proximity. It was cool, man. It's fun. I didn't want to pull the trigger with my own cash, but like I said, it's free for me, so I definitely want to try this out. Nice. Do you think you're gonna continue playing it, or do you think like that was kind of a one and done? I'm sure your obligation was like, what, 2-hour stream or something like that? Then you're good. I know Zuon and her community goes hard on V-Rising. She loves V-Rising, and they just did a whole reset again. If I did, though, it'd be off stream. Gotcha. Yeah, I was talking about this at the beginning of stream. I'm kind of looking and shopping for a game to play. I don't have a game to play right now, off stream, and I don't know what I'm playing after Clair Obscure at the moment. I'm kind of just shopping around to see what I want to engage with at the moment. Because I still have a lot of time with Clear Obscure. But offline, I look at my library and I just don't have motivation to do it. Had the same problem. Did you fix it? I feel like I'm in the mood for like a nice cozy farming sim of some sort. With a little bit more complexity, not just a farming sim, but I don't know, I gotta find something. Took all my motivation to play anything else. I see. Yeah, well, in my 2025 scorecard for like games I want to play, I am in like Clear Obscure just happened to be the last game that I was looking for. There's 2 games I am looking for right now. I just haven't heard updates on them, which is Heroes of Might and Magic and Rataton. But I haven't heard anything on them, so I just kind of in limbo with those. I did not have a game for after Clear Obscure at all. I mean, I had been obviously keeping an eye on things, but nothing really came to mind, so this was just an inevitable situation where, you know, it's just I just want to find something to play, and I just haven't had the motivation to do anything right now. Coral Island? Oh, yeah, that's 1.0, right? I'm not sure. I think I backed out of Coral Island. I don't know. Something about it wasn't too up my alley. What's up, Big Tech? Although, Brokey showed me, he said he was looking for a game called Fantasy Life, and I took a look at the trailer earlier, and that actually looked kind of cool. I don't know if I'd pull the trigger on that one either, but that would be the genre that I would be kind of looking for on my end. Not bad. I have a package that has been delivered as we speak. In the same way, speaking of 33, were you able to hear how they juke you? Oh, wait, how do they juke you? I'm playing Eastward. You should take a look. It's really cozy fun. Eastward. Let me take a look. Open new tab. I'm saving these games, guys. I appreciate these. These suggestions, because I might pull the trigger on something. Eastward. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at this after, but I have it loaded up on the tab. Would only recommend on PC if though interesting Eastward is on my ignore list. Oh, wait, there's an ignore list on Steam. Interesting. I think I'm a PC gamer, Bivtech. I don't know if I'll ever touch my consoles again. I think I'm just full on PC gamer from here on out. Like, I have no interest in Switch 2, although I probably end up with a Switch 2 at some point. But I think I'm just PC gamer. They said Sandfall accepted me to play the game, so I immediately got into Lurk and see what's up. They accepted my request for the preview I wanted a couple months back. Okay. Oh, did you have to do the preview and you didn't do the preview, so then they kind of just didn't let you go into the other one? Is that what happened? I do have Enshrouded. I did have fun with Enshrouded, but I might wait for an update on Enshrouded, which I think there is actually an update coming in soon. Enshrouded wasn't bad. I kind of want a little bit more NPC interaction, though. That's my thing, but if they do that, I might get enticed to do it, but, yeah. I was Desdim. I definitely switched primarily PC gaming. Consoles are nice, but they have become glorified PCs at this point, and console exclusivity feels like it's on its way out. Square Enix was the last standing defense on exclusivity, and yeah, I think they're on their way out, which they should be. So, if Clear Obscure needed any other, you know, if they needed any other reason other than to look at Clear Obscure. But, like, I guess a bunch of others got the same acceptance at the same time. Seems like a big mistake because they are out of code for the preview. Like, they aren't available for anyone. Oh, interesting. Well, that's weird. Huh. That sucks. Could you, like, contact them or something? I was stoked. Like, I wanted to play the full game, then I saw the preview and out of codes and my heart dropped. Dang. I'll kill the bees here. Do I even need to? I probably didn't need to. I don't have strength on though, so it's just one of those things where I played it a safe route as opposed to not. What? I mean, it's cool. Maybe eventually I'll get it. At this point, they don't need no kidding. Yeah, at this point, it's just, do you have the time and do you have the funds for it? That's really all it comes down to, right? So maybe you'll have a community member just give it to you. Who knows? If I had strength on, I would have been confident with it, but yeah, I pulled back on that one. Steal. Hey, maybe someone puts it on the sub wheel, you know? And now you have to play it. How did your machinist run go? Did you park it? Did you make it? Got the 110 part. Nice. Okay, cool. Good to hear it. I'll go this way. Okay, have a great stream. I need to work. Alright, thanks, thanks Ayla for the Prime Gaming and everything. I'll catch you next time. Slate. Luring City. So during that run, I ran my gameplay stall list that I usually do for these dungeons. The only song that got flagged was a good written song from Hades. Hades 1. Hades 1, yeah. I don't think you have Hades 2 in. Because I have one song from Hades 2 that's never been an issue. That's good. Oh yeah, Cog, if you get any, by the way, down the line, like let's say you have a bot that was there for like a year like me, and then they trigger it, and you need help with that, let me know. Because you can actually, you have two options. You can dispute it, which sometimes actually works, or you can actually, YouTube has a feature where they mute the music in the background. Like they can actually edit it out for you and just mute it out. I mean, it's more so if like it's a video that's actually like pulling views. You probably don't want to do it if the video isn't. Like it's just effort that you probably don't want to put into it, but you take the Hades song out. Yeah, I had to take some Nier songs out, but I don't have all of them out. I think the 14 Nier songs fine. And the remix ones I have are fine. But I had to take the actual like Heine and Emil songs out because they triggered. But then I did dispute them, and they did fix the dispute though, so that's a good thing. I want to check. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, it's good for future reference. That's pretty much how I do it. Anytime I have new music, I let it play, see YouTube likes it or not, and then go on from there. You never know sometimes. YouTube is finicky. Like, for instance, a lot of the main battle themes for Final Fantasy, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can't play them. But if you play some of the boss themes, that's fine. Because I guess they're not that important, or they're not as popular, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but that's something that is a thing. Although 10, I think 10 and 8, Final Fantasy 10 and 8 are two that are always, like, just weirdly problematic. I have no 8 songs because they just trigger everything. And 10, I think, is in the same boat. No matter what you play from 10, I just always get triggered. But, like, 7, you play other songs, just not the main battle. Like, I don't have the main battle theme even from Rebirth. Not at all. But I have, like, every other battle theme, and it's fine. Because they don't complain about that one. And man, I miss the 8 songs. I like the Final Fantasy 8 songs. All the battle themes in there are fantastic, but can't have them in the playlist. Even the classic Final Fantasy 9 battle theme, they were so good. I can't have them. YouTube says no. YouTube's mean and angry. The 8 soundtrack is good. Bylem Garden. Don't Be Afraid, Man with a Machine Gun, one of my favorite battle themes. Oh, well, I do have Extreme. Extreme, both versions. The one in 8 and the one in 14 are on my playlist, but that's the only thing I could ever have. Even when they did the Don't Be Afraid remix in 14, down the line, YouTube complained about it. Like, it wasn't immediate, but they eventually complained about it. I'm like, come on, man. It's even the 14 version, you can't even give it to me. It's a cover. Yeah. I know it's a cover. Hey, Chelly. Have you had a fun run? Thanks. You know, the run's been fun. We've had some great conversations. I had one dip on my internet, but it's okay. I don't even think it was the internet. It might have been just my OBS, but we've had a pretty solid run. Can't complain. Thank you for asking. Man with the Machine Gun and 8's so good. I love the song. I love that song. And I wish I could have it on my playlist. Boy, do I wish it was on the playlist. It's not. I even remember Nox first hearing that in 8 when I played 8 originally, when it first came out. I was like, what is this battle theme? Oh man, what a memory. To me, it came out of nowhere because you were used to the regular one all of a sudden. New battle theme for new party members. Boy. It's like I wanted to hear more of it. So I have Final Fantasy 13-2 music, which is really good. Switching here. Okay. want to get that chest, and then I'll try to check the other room, and then off we go. Hopefully the Beist moves. Dang. Oh, thank God, Strength. Okay. Rebirth has such a good soundtrack to a very large soundtrack. Yeah. Battle themes for every area, mini songs here, little songs there. I love the Rebirth soundtrack. And the remake soundtrack. Both of them. Has so many songs from that OST. I still remember Nox when remake was first coming out, and you know, I was excited to hear the battle theme, B7 battle theme. But then I started to hear other battle themes. I'm like, oh, but what about the original? What are they gonna do with the original? Come on, man, it's like the original battle theme. But then when I started hearing the battle themes they started putting out in remake, I'm like, nah, this is fine. this sounds amazing. Every single battle theme that they fired off was all amazing tracks, and it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna doubt these guys anymore. And like, you know, the original battle theme would show up once in a while, but I didn't miss it at all because I wanted to hear the other ones. And you got the occasional, you know, you got the occasional OG battle theme in there, and they got it in just with the right amount of time and everything. Hey Soda, you know, stream's been great. Thank you for asking. We had one little disconnect in my OBS, but we're still fine, the run's fine, and we're just getting this far up park to 140 today, so 15 more floors and we're there, but hope you're doing well. Good to see you. It's funny at the beginning of Remake, during the reactor sequence, they kind of keep teasing you with the old battle theme. Then when you fight the soldiers in the street, the escape finally plays and so good. It was done so cinematically. It was great. It was such a well executed way of doing it. I agree. I mean, I really like when games do that. I mean, Octopath was a big one, but when they build up into that track. You know, it leads into the track, like it all makes sense. What a way to execute music. Ugh. Yeah, I think Octopath still does it one of the best ways, too. How they have 8 characters, and every character has their own pre-battle theme that leads into the battle theme. And it just, like, it just moves into the battle. Ugh, man. One of the things I loved about the way Octopath executed their music. Better than any other game, I would say. Because it felt so epic and it felt so dramatic. feel? Okay. I was continuing my Heaven on High attempts and died on 499, so I took a break and played all the way through... Oh, that's a break. Yeah, okay. That's a way to cleanse the palate, that's for sure. Not Final Fantasy, but Metaphor also had an amazing soundtrack. Metaphor was not bad. I do like the battle theme from Metaphor. Admittedly, there were some tracks that honestly I just didn't want to hear anymore. They didn't stick out as memorable to me, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I think it's like the genre, maybe, or the way that they did some of the songs. It just wasn't up my alley. Like you know, some songs, like, they definitely sounded great and appropriate. It just, you know, wasn't to my preference of genre. That's all it came down to. No! No one asked you to aggro. I was actually kind of sad Persona 3 Reloaded didn't get a single Game Award nomination, not even for music. Maybe because there's a remaster? Hey, Elder Child, thanks for the raid. Welcome in. How goes it? How was your stream? Hope you had a fantastic time. I'll give you the shout out in a second. Let me just get to this exit over here. What is this? I don't remember this one. Oh, guess I'll have to wait a little bit. Welcome in, guys. I'm Andrew's Leavinus. I do a lot of Deep Dungeon solo if you find me in the Final Fantasy XIV directory, which we do on the Mondays at the moment. We do a lot of variety games at the moment, and we're playing through Expedition 33 if you catch me on the night streams. But you've walked into us. We are setting up a Reaper file because I died last week, so we're trying to set this back up to try to go for the clear because I don't want to go away without the clears. I hope you had a good 14-day. Stream is good. We're doing more PoTD. We got to floor 50. Hey, congratulations. That's always a good achievement. Downing Aida. Let's go. Hope it was a blast to get through 50. Wait, I just did that. Shh. Well, that's on me. Let me safety for extra safety. That's what I wanted to go for. We basically completed Edda's story arc and now gotta learn who the road figure is. Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I hope you get a good experience getting through the last 50 floors then. Hell yeah. RE4 was the main got nominated? Maybe it's just... Well, RE3 is a little more popular, I would say. JRPGs usually have a rough time in something like the Game Awards, but I think this JRPG will definitely prove different. But JRPG usually has an uphill climb to go for whenever it comes to that. I mean, it's really nice that Remake even got what it got, considering it's a JRPG. But of course, Clear Obscure is probably going to be the one exception now, because it was just way too good. You mean yours? Yeah, no, that's her, that's her. I hope that journey will be fun for them to experience. Elder Child, if you got any post-stream stuff, do what you gotta do. I'll be here. Our goal is 140, so we'll be here for another... What floor are we on? 11 more floors. So, maybe about another 30 minutes on stream, something like that. Reaper is flying. Flying. Honestly, this might be a viable thing to, like, for me to do the whole run at some point. On a Monday, maybe? I don't know. If I'm in the mood. I'm not really in the mood, but if I get in the mood, I could probably do a whole 51 to 200 on a single day. Oh, the exit is all the way in Narnia. Okay. I'm losing strength. I hope I can pick one up. Purite. Missed a couple of last streams in my FFXIV where I have hit credits. I won't go into detail, of course. Just in respect to anyone else who's still playing the game, and we're not doing it for FFXIV, obviously. So, but I hit credits, and I'm doing cleanup. So I do want achievement hunt. So I think my next main objective is getting the achievements. But I have not looked at the achievements yet. I might look at it tomorrow to see what I have left. I may not look up how to do them. Like I think I still want to stay blind on how to achieve them. But there's a couple I may inevitably start to look up because I think there's one that I think is an achievement and I don't think I'm going to find it in a reasonable amount of time. It is a Narnia, look, it's all the way up there. It's all the way at the top. In the North Pole. I don't want to fight you right now. You and your big stick. Oh. Hold on, I hear an owl. Okay. Hi, Jax. Hey, do you have any advice for dealing with traps as someone new to soloing Deep Dungeon? I know you can avoid most of them by hugging walls, but I feel like I inevitably died to one early. And I'm an experienced raider, but I found the experience of randomness that comes from traps frustrating, so I've never made it far soloing without giving up. How far have you gotten? Let's start with that. How far have you gotten, Hi, Jax? And it depends on how far you got. I'll give you a variance of answers. Also, give me the deep dungeon, because that also matters too. It's like a case-to-case basis on the deep dungeon you're playing and the floor that you're on. I want that chest. I think I've sold 15 Heaven or High, Duo to 50 and EO, and I'm kind of open to either doing of those. Okay, so not Palace of the Dead yet. Gotcha. So let me stick it to the ones that you've done so far. Let me remember EO. Let's do Heaven on High first. Heaven on High is a little bit more wild. So Heaven on High, and kind of the lower floors in general for all the deep dungeons, it is the mentality that you want to have is that you are preparing to hit a trap, and you want to have an answer to hit a trap, you just hope you don't hit a trap. When you get to the higher floors, especially Palace of the Dead and like 151 plus and everything, the mentality changes to, if I hit a trap, it's a mistake. If that makes sense. Now, on the lower floors, they're kind of mean with some of the trap locations. Some of them are just literally on the corners or on the walls. So how I approach a lot of traps, especially on the lower floors, is you try to reduce the amount of factors that are going to happen if you hit a trap. So for example, you don't want to hit a trap if you have an enemy on top of you. You don't want to hit a trap if there's enemies in the room. If you hit a luring trap, you want to have an answer for it. You want to do a luring, you want to do a witching, you want to have an answer for, a reaction to, being proactive for it, and be ready for it to happen. That's the best solution to do it. If you stick around for the next floor set, it might give you a little bit of a look of how I handle generally the floors. Because I don't talk about it often, especially when we're reclimbing. But even on these dangerous cave floors, which tend to have very nasty wall traps. Like even if you're hugging the wall, you're going to hit a trap. But I try to keep all of the factors down to a minimum. So even if I hit a trap, I at least know that it's not gonna snowball into tragedy because I would just react to whatever the trap is. So that's the best way that I would suggest handling it. Is that you just have to kind of deal with the fact that you're probably hitting a trap once in a while, but you want to have an answer for it. Because I know some people like to drag enemies with them, they like to pull, like just run through the room while they're doing it, and you're increasing the chances to die. Because now you're compounding situations upon situations. How often do I hit traps? Heaven on High. Let's take Heaven on High, okay? As an example, since Heaven on High was one of your first examples. From 1 to 40, I would say I'm hitting traps like, I don't know. If there's 9 floors, I'm probably hitting traps 30% of the time. Because those floors are just jerks. Even if I'm hugging the wall, even if I'm one step off the wall, you're hitting traps on those floors. And it's specifically 1 to 40. Once I step into 41 to 100, I would say my chances of hitting a trap are down to 1%. Literally. I can go through 41 to 100 in Heaven on High and never see a trap for the entire run, multiple runs in a row. But that's the difference you're having between the lower floors and the higher floors. So it is not a bad thing to think that it's crazy that the traps are wild, but it's different on the higher floors. So just a little bit more lenient on the higher floors. Again, depending on which deep dungeon you're talking about, of course. But since you mentioned Heaven on High and EO, Eureka Orthos, from my memory, 1 to 20 is not that bad. I think you're going to hit some traps in some corners, but not as bad as, say, like, lower floor Heaven on High. 21 to 40 EO, you can mostly avoid all of them except those rooms that are, like, really, really tight and really small. You're probably gonna hit a trap there, even if you're hugging a wall. Because, I mean, what's a wall in that room? It's like, it's down the corridor. But then 41 plus, I mean, the cave floors will be a little tricky. There's some traps that are along the wall in cave floors, but not as bad as Palace of the Dead. And then 81 to 90, you can probably get away without hitting any traps except for like one specific area if you hit the walls. So setting a sustaining pot when entering into the room can be helpful. Yes, what Thurin said is extremely good too. That, like, if you have the sustaining potions to use, that also increases your chance of survival. Because if you hit a transformation trap, but you just roll the sustaining potion on, transformation trap at most is going to last 30 seconds. At least you have the sustaining pot on for the entire duration. So it's also something to consider as well. If I'm being lazy often, I try to avoid them almost never. You learn the rooms over which can be more problematic. The traps aren't random. They follow set location. And that's exactly what Ross said. I mean, one thing I'll share to you is our buddy Mr. Darabon. And again, what I wanted to see was what deep dungeon you're talking about, because this is technically out of context. But if any time you find yourself doing Palace of the Dead, the video done by our buddy Mr. Darabon, I should actually change that. Wait, hold on. I'm going to continue the conversation, but give me a second. Where is the Darabon link? Here it is. Okay, that's better. So, if you check out, if you ever have an aspiration of doing Palace of the Dead, Darabon has a video that explains every single trap in all of Palace of the Dead 151 plus. Like, he literally was like, okay, here's the trap in this one, here's a trap in this one, every single one. But also, what happens with that video is that it might give you an understanding of how traps actually work in the game. Because what Ross said is like a really short summary of how that actually works and how traps go. Is that you did mention about the randomness of Deep Dungeon and everything, but in reality, trap locations are kind of set locations. They just go through a cycle. There is a more likely chance that it'll be in one spot more than another, but as you go further and further along the floors, you tend to see them move around, etc. So they're based on map layout, they're based on the amount of the room itself and where they are, and so on and so forth. So there is a systematic explanation for how traps work in all 3 Deep Dungeons. So you can get to a point where you're like, oh, this is that one corner that I always hit a trap on, and your solution is either don't run that corner, or safety, or just clench your butt and get ready to just hit the trap, you know? So that's one way that you can kind of do it, but a lot of times, even if, let's say, you're going through the thought process of it being a random occurrence, you still want to, like, create a scenario that is the safest scenario possible. Reduce the enemies that can possibly get on you, don't run with something while you're fighting, fight in hallways, pop a sustaining potion like Thurin said if you have one, and just make sure that you're as safe as possible if you were to hit a trap. If I actually commit to soloing, I'd probably do Palace last because of the crazy amount of time it takes compared to the other 2. That's fair. Absolutely fair, Hijacks. Look, it's your time, so you gotta do what you gotta do. But hey, we'll help you in all 3 and 4, eventually all 4. So I hope that information was helpful to you. If you have any further questions, please ask. I do apologize, though. I'm going to smash an ad in your face, so I gotta get the last ad here. We're doing the last 10 floors here, and then we're good to go. Pretty quick stream, but Reaper is very quick. Our goal is 140, and we're about to step into 131. So thank you guys for watching. Ads are going out, and then we will continue in the last 10 floors. I'll see you in a little bit. I'm also partially speedrunning because I kind of need to go to the bathroom and I don't want to get up from my seat, so that's the thing. Okay, good to hear it. I'll go to the bathroom when I finish stream. How about that? Made it back with last set. Hell yeah, Rory. Hey, Ichi. How you doing? My greatest gaming moment ever, right there. I'm very excited to have more gaming moments, but that certainly is going to be sitting at the top of my gaming moments in my lifetime. Hey, quote. Well, I just gotta get through this floor and I'm good to go. Dodge an attack, but got double crit. That sucks, Dante. What's up, Dante? While we're on the topic of Heaven on High, I have a question. I can consistently make it to floors 81 to 100. But I always seem to have bad luck in enemy choices and palms out of chests. Are there any tips you can possibly give with Machinist mostly? Well, I mean, I do have a Machinist run, so you can always check that one. I always go into 81 to 100 Soda, assuming I'm not picking up anything. That's how I play 81 to 100. Now, you typically get, like, Strength and Seals, so you make the most of them. But I don't assume I'm going to pick up anything at all. I remember distinctly, my Paladin clear, I walked in, I think, with 6 wipes or something. No. Well, I walked into 91 plus, I think, with 5 wipes, I believe. I didn't pick up a single thing. Nothing. It just, whatever I had on that loadout was exactly what I needed to clear. So, you know, it's the thing I always like to say, in general. And the thing that I picked up from Pokemon speedrunners, and it really applies to the grand part of Deep Dungeon, is that you never want to start relying on the game helping you and having good luck. You want to try your best to mitigate as much bad luck as possible. So whatever is supposed to happen that's bad, you want to try to make sure that it isn't as bad as it could have been. And that's how you kind of get through a lot of the floors. I mean, Heaven on High is tricky because unlike the other 2 Deep Dungeons, and welcome back to the ads, unlike the other 2 Deep Dungeons, you can kind of have a game plan and you can kind of stick to the game plan. Before you enter the floor set, you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this on this floor. When these guys come up, I'm gonna do this. And it's like a loose game plan. When it comes to Heaven on High, you're doing a game plan by floor. Because every floor will change. And it will make you do something or not do something based on what it's going for. So here's an example. Also, Poke, hey, thanks for the follow. Here's an example. And also what Ross said, I quickly read what Ross said, but I will verbalize it in a bit. But what he said was also true. Here's a really quick example. My game plan for 81 Plus and Heaven on High is the following. First and foremost, you want to walk in with at least 4 floor wipes. 2 Petries, 2 Magicites, 3 Magicites, 1 Petri, 3 Petries, 1 whatever. That would be nice, because it gives you something to work with. Now, I like to evenly distribute my Serenity, Magicite, and Petri. So if I have 3 Serenity, if a bad debuff floor comes in, I'll probably use the Serenity to push it down to 2 so I don't overcap. If I get another debuff, anytime I get a debuff, my answer is usually going to be something. A floor wipe or a Serenity. And we're talking bad debuffs, you know, Gloom, Ability, no items, so on and so forth. If it's no items, then you're probably using a Magicite. But that's what helps you kind of get through those nasty floors, that you don't fight through all of the nasty floors, you're wiping through them. But again, that's a case-to-case basis. If I have 82, triple debuff, okay, Serenity. 83, triple debuff, okay, Petri. Triple debuff again, okay, we're going to use a Magicite, you know what I mean? Like, that's our plan. But now, what does that mean? What happens when we do that? Well, we have a lot of time now, because we just went through the first 4 floors in like 10 minutes. So that means you have a lot of time backloaded that now you want to distribute. Now, because you're ahead on time, you want to adjust your strategy. Maybe you get a blinded floor, or maybe you wouldn't have wanted to fight through it at the beginning, but now that you're sitting at 85 with like 48 minutes left, well, you probably fight through a blinded floor because, you know, you had all that time. Now let's change Heaven on High, okay? You walk into 82, no debuff. Okay, we'll fight through 82, no problem. 83, no debuff. Well, I mean, I don't have to use anything. I'm just gonna go in and keep fighting it. 84, oh my god, no debuff again. I'm so lucky. We just fight through it. You get to 85. Unlike the previous run where you had 48 minutes with a blinded floor into 85, if you have a blinded floor going to 85, but you're down to like 32 minutes, you're probably going to do something now, because your time is very different than what it was when you were wiping all the way through. Maybe now you wipe that floor to save your time on the blind. But that's Heaven on High for you. It's just, it's so radical with the RNG, you have to kind of play floor by floor and kind of see where your time is and kind of make adjustments that way. That's what makes it difficult to optimize. So it's not really a straight answer, but you kind of want to have somewhat of a game plan being like, if this happens, I'm going to do this. And try to see if you can stick with it. But of course, you need to make it efficient, right? You don't get a triple debuff floor and still spend 8 minutes before you decide to get off the floor. Because then that's a waste of time. If you're going to Magicite or Petri a floor that's really bad debuff, you want to get out of there as efficiently as possible so that time save carries over into the next floor. Makes sense? Does that make sense? So, and then what Ross said, people also have been doing 0 gold silver chest checks starting at 71, clearing many jobs. Yeah. And that means it's palm efficiency. Using your palms, you know, to a degree that you will get the most out of it. That's always been the most important thing, getting the most out of your Pomanders. So, but it's also, you know, in a typical run, it's also definitely recommended to always check chests. Never be fearful of checking chests. So if you're skipping rooms, if you're like leaving a couple chests on the ground and going to the next floor, you're kind of lessening the chances of you continuing the floor because you're not picking up a possible power-up, even if it could be a mimic. Hopefully that made sense. Okay. Purity. Here. Sometimes you can also fight through bad debuffs if you have good options to pull too, especially if the floor was flighted or altered. Yeah, what Rory said is very factual. A flighted floor overrides kind of my decision on fighting through bad debuff floors. Like, you would be willing to fight through a bad debuff floor if it's manageable, if it's flighted, because you already have something that time saved you, so you want to take the time save. But even then, that still becomes a little debatable depending on what's in front of you. But you don't want to put yourself so far back on time that it like, you know what's a common thing I saw early runners do years ago, and they probably still do it, sorta? People would kind of go through the first, let's take 81 to 90. They go through 81 to 86. Not casually, just not optimally, right? Like, maybe they'll be deliberating on the floor, like, oh man, should I pull this? Oh man, should I pull that? Maybe they run back and forth. Maybe they pop a couple mimics after the exit opens. You know, a couple things that'll happen. But then they hit to 87, and they don't have an Odin. And they're like, okay, I gotta fight through 90, but then I only have 20 minutes left on 87. You know, it's like you got 3 floors to cut through with a boss that possibly takes you about 15 minutes to kill. What's the solution? Okay, wipe. Petri, Magicite, go. Go, right? But what happens there is that people will rush through those last 3 floors, and they'll be under such a big time pressure that they'll literally just hit the wipe and leave. Because they don't have time. They did not leave themselves time to check chests, and that hurts you. Because that could possibly be pickups, like I said. So there's a distribution on time that you want to do. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you lost track of time, and you're not, and the boss takes 14 minutes, and you're in 87 with like 18 minutes. Because that's bad. So that's also something that you want to factor in as well, you know. It does really help. I'll be sure to keep that in mind, thanks. I've had bad luck checking chests, like getting 3 intuitions back-to-back several times. That's 81 to 90 for you, honestly. I mean, and 91 to 100, that will always happen. But more times than not, you'll probably pick up something that you can use. And maximizing every single Pomander to giving you some use. Like, okay, here's an example, Soda. Maybe you haven't been hitting traps, and maybe you've been really good on traps, so you're sitting at full witching. A witching can buy you a kill. You know? Like, okay, let me witching this Ryujin. Well, you might be able to squeeze that kill out to get the 1 kill you need to get off the floor. That's maximizing your palms to its maximum efficiency, you know? Those are things that can happen and that you can keep in mind. And also, another really good one to keep in mind too, Soda. The decision of, do I Serenity, do I Magicite, do I Petrify? Well, here's a way to keep this in mind. Let's say you started 81 with a Strength and Steel. Let's say the game gave you a Strength and Steel. So you cleared like 3 enemies, you got a Strength and Steel, great, I'm gonna use the Strength and Steel. You finished 81, and you have 5 minutes left on your Strength and Steel, which is like 6 minutes left, a little over 5 minutes, right? Well, if the next floor is going to be a triple debuff, then your solution should be a Serenity. Why is it a Serenity? Because if you decide to Magicite that floor, what are you going to do on that floor? You Magicite it, great. You wiped out the floor, okay, cool. Now you're gonna run around that floor for 3 minutes without doing anything, checking chests. You're probably ready for a Mimic, great, but your Strength and Steel are just melting away for no reason. So you would want to do a Serenity there because you're willing to fight because you have the Strength and Steel on. And those little tiny decisions can go a long way, you know? That can also dictate why you pick this answer, why you pick that answer, because you want to maximize your resources. Time pressure also causes mistakes on bosses. Yes. It does. I mean, time pressure in general causes mistakes, you know? But yeah, for sure. So what you're saying reminds me of the realization I've had watching high-level players at other games. Good players make their own luck. It might look like they're just really consistent luckier than you, but in reality, they just know how to maximize their chances. Yes. Managing luck is a skill. It is 100% skill. It is not... I mean, yes, there is luck that you can't control, and sometimes the game gives it to you 100%. But that's one of the things, Hijacks. I remember back in early days, again, this is things I don't hear anymore, which is great. But early days of Deep Dungeon, I remember comments on Reddit being like, you know, a quick response about, you know, how do you clear Deep Dungeon? Oh, just get lucky. Oh, if you're lucky enough, you'll clear. That's not necessarily wrong. That could be actually right. But one, you need to know what to do with luck. I always contemplated this social experiment where, let's say you have a file, 191+, 3 of everything, 91 plus, heaven on high, 3 of everything, the full loadout, the dream of someone going for their first clear. But then you go to like Limsa, you take some random sprout and you're like, hey, I'm gonna give you a challenge. See if you can clear this file. I know you haven't done Deep Dungeon before, you don't even know what Deep Dungeon is, but go in and see if you clear this file. I almost guarantee you they won't clear the file. They will have luck that they don't know what to do with. But a skilled player who's put hundreds of hours in the content, they're given that file, they're gonna be drooling over it because they can just imagine that they can see the finish line. Because they've worked so hard to get there, right? And also the other thing was, look at the veteran players, like you said, the high-level players, the good players that have been doing the content for a while. Some of them clear 10, 20, 30 times in a row. And okay, you can make the argument of like, oh, streamer luck, oh, they got lucky. Once you're 20 deep in a row on a clear, I don't really think you're talking about luck anymore. Like, I don't know, like, there's no leg you can stand on for that. Like, they can't possibly get lucky 20 times in a row when someone else who's on their 30th run and hasn't cleared yet, you know, it's otherwise, where's the luck? Like, there's no way that distributes correctly. You have to at least concede the fact that there is skill that is involved. Less experienced players can get good luck and not even realize it. That's also such a strong statement from Ross, because what is luck? Do you even know what luck defines as in this content? Like, the easy one is, you know, oh, okay, a rage. Lucky. But then, I mean, how many people will die from a rage? How many people will get so excited that they pop a rage in a no knockback situation? You didn't know what to do with you didn't know what to do with the good luck. You know? I mean, people, early, very beginner players in Deep Dungeon will see a landmine and we'll see an exploding silver chest and I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad! Why is this so bad? I'm so unlucky! Whereas veteran players are like, okay, free kill. But they know what to do with it, that's why, you know? Yeah, that's a very, very good statement there, because we're talking about good luck and bad luck, but what does that actually mean in the content? Do people know what good luck looks like? For someone, 9 intuition on 191 plus is really good luck. Whereas someone going for the clear will say that is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. You know? Also, something I started doing in the early 90s is looking for an excuse to wipe those floors, since they have some rough pools. So I don't want to fight half the floor, run out of good options, find a treasure room, whatever, and then have to do something anyway. That's different than my game plan. Like 94 to 96 are usually the floors I wipe. From 91 to 93, I usually try to fight through them if I can, because I deem them more manageable in the middle floors. But hey, whatever works. That's all that's important. Whatever works. Fortune, I'll use it. Totally did not do that last week in EO 98. Dread on no knockback. It happens, it gets the best of us. You know, for me, nearly, I will make a mental note. I probably will verbalize it on stream. Okay, no knockback. Okay, no knockback. But then, 3 minutes into the floor, I've been fighting my butt off. We get to like the end, I see a rage. Well, I already forgot that I said no knockback. I always try to do a mental check and check the map if it's there, but sometimes it just slips through. You know, you did what you needed to. You looked at the debuff. You recognized the debuff. But when you're in the floor for so long, it's been a while. You had to think of a dozen other things before you got to going back to your original thought, you know? Very true. Gozos and monks hurt even with steel on. So I might try some different strategies on how I manage them early in the 80s. Yeah. You gotta find what's good for you, Soda. You know, we can show you and we can tell you what's good, what's okay, but it's got to be comfortable to your playstyle. There are going to be things where people will find are more comfortable on certain things and not on other things. That's kind of the fun of the content, in my opinion, you know? You can't necessarily say, oh, this is an easy enemy to, like, you know, a class of 1,000 people, because for some people that enemy is terrifying to them. For other people, yes, it is easy. It's like Behemoth and Godfather. For some people on Machinist, Behemoth is the hardest thing ever, but Godfather is easy. For others, Behemoth was a one-shot and they get stuck on Godfather. They all have their difficulties and their challenges, but people are just going to play differently, so you're going to get different results. It's just, you know, that's how it is. I've been hit with a treasure room on the exit twice in a row. 91? Yikes. That's why I like having my conceals for that one. I now have a game plan on my second monitor and using Steam sticky notes to remind me of the important stuff. Yo, let's go. I'm not much of a note taker, so a lot of this is just all in my head. That's just the way I roll. But I've seen the usefulness of people writing notes and everything. It's pretty cool. And I actually, like, it's cool to see them, too, in general. Like, it's cool to see all these note-takings and everything. Love it. I love it. Pretty sure you're not undead. Pretty sure the Troubadour isn't undead either. Nope. I make them shorter by the time I get used to stuff, but helps a lot when you've been only 1 to 2 times in circle. Yeah. I would have cleared the 99 run I had, but I hit a luring, even self-sustained too much. Oh no! It happens. It happens. It happens. Whoops. For whatever reason, my brain didn't think that was going to be that fast. So I know, Hijacks, you said something earlier, so I don't know if you're still here, but, you know, this floor set entirely, the cave floors are usually very nasty with traps, but the entire time, I don't think I've hit a single trap yet, you know? And again, the way I kind of conduct myself here is in this specific way that keeps me as safe as possible. And I do not know the traps in this map. I don't have the memorization that Darabon has like this, so I'm just trying to play as safe as possible to make sure that we don't have a problem. Really appreciate the tips, and hey, no, I mean, thank you for asking. You know what's one thing I always get excited about, just answering those type of questions and chat participating as well. Because Soda, whenever you ask a question, it's not just for you. It's for probably 5 other people that are possibly listening in chat that don't want to say anything in chat. So, you know, you're helping other people possibly with saying that. That's why it's always fun for me to answer those questions. Fun to debate them, fun to talk about them, fun to give something to the question. Reading other people's painful experience helps me feel better about my own failures. That's why we have that DD Fails channel in Discord. You know? Even the guys who are the guide makers will have their fails, and it happens. You know, originally I used to only upload my clear attempts, because I thought that would be the fun one to watch. But it was actually Aurora Moon, who rated us earlier, who actually had been watching my fail attempts a lot. And he liked those attempts because he learned a lot from the failures. And I'm like, okay, you know what, you're right. So we upload everything. If I fail, if I clear, doesn't matter, we just upload them. I just put a ticket to look at for the E33 thing. Was like, I can't imagine providing acceptance a month and a half old campaign that's out of keys was the intention. Do you need to accept the full game? Hey, you know what? Worth a try. What are they gonna say, you know? At least you tried. And that's an example of what I said before. It would be easy for me to say, oh well, this is lucky they're not fair, but that is just pretending to... but, you know, the other thing I'll also put out there, Hijacks, is you're watching, what, 8 years of experience now? That's a big gap to bridge. A big bridge to gap, sorry. And of course, that's kind of what I hope to do, is I hope that we can bridge that gap as quickly as possible for anyone that's wanted to do the content. That you don't have to go through 8 years to get to this point. With that being said, 8 years does teach you quite a lot of things in the content. You know? Can't deny that. This is routine for me, but also we've created a routine that is safe and that is consistent and that is just, you know, that'll get me where I need to get to. And tack on the fact I get to chat with you guys, you know, that's another added little factor into it. And my focus is not fully on this content. It's on you. It's on reading chat. It's on responding to chat. I always like to say that when I stream Deep Dungeon, at maximum capacity, I am playing at an 80% clip. I will never play 100% on stream, and it's okay. I've conceded this. You know, I want to talk with you guys. I want to chat. You know, and not to mention, like, you know, if I have the camera on and if I have this and that, like, these are factors that come into play that will affect my performance. But that's what I sign up for. And now I have to try to make that 80% as efficient as possible. Gotta go to bed. Oh yeah, hey Neely, it's nice talking to you. Have a wonderful sleep, and I'll catch you next time. If they said, no, I'm back to where I started, which is fine, but maybe, just maybe. Hey, you never know. You never know, man. And hey, you've been doing a lot for Lurk It too. So I'm sure that reputation is going to go a little bit. You know, you're not someone who's doing it now for the first time, and you've never done any sponsored stuff for them before. I mean, you're, I would imagine, responsible, submitting the comment as needed, following the directions as needed. So I'm sure that will factor into that, you know? Damn it, the exit's on here. It's bad. I can go this way. Wait. Cool. I just like free games? Yeah, but you're responsible for them. Nothing's ever really free, but you're responsible. You're a responsible creator for when those are given to you. That's what matters. I think he's gonna do the water anyway. Blood. Looks like I have to clear maybe both of them. We're hanging in this hallway because there's no traps in the hallway. Oh yeah. 100% have to pull all of them. Okay, good. You didn't even cross my mind about a possible patrol, but I pulled already, then I heard the Aramon. Yo, what up, Chloe? Back at it again, because we wiped last week, so I want to get this clear. So we're setting up the file once more. Hope you're having a good Monday, man. Wait, there's a chest here. One other question. Do you find you get enough potsherds to replace your sustainings, or do you have to farm some out sometimes? Depends on the job. Something like this job will start to hit me on the potsherds. So I do sometimes like to do runs where I will not need to use as many potsherds. So a tank run, red mage run, sometimes a machinist run. Now, I think mathematically speaking, Hijacks, if you're someone, let's take Palace of the Dead since we're taking Palace of the Dead. If you're doing Palace of the Dead, unless you're getting to 181, 191 a lot, then you're probably going in the positive for potsherds, because you get a lot of them from like 101 plus. Now, with Heaven on High and EO, again, it really depends on the job. If you're taking a tank job, you're probably using a lot less on the potsherds. But if you're taking a melee job or another DPS job, your potsherds are probably going to melt. But luckily for EO and Heaven on High, it's not too bad to farm them, since you can get the guaranteed potsherd from 21 to 30. Well, Heaven on High is a lot easier than EO for that department, but I haven't, personally speaking, in my situation, I haven't had to explicitly farm anything for a long time, because I would kind of alternate. I would go from a job that is going to probably use a lot more potions into a job that will probably not use a lot more potions, and I go net positive that way. So that's one thing that I do. And finally, getting to non-Reaper melees in here. I knew Reaper was strong, but it's crazy how much less survivability I feel now. Yep, the shield is a good buffer. Even if you're doing, like, let's say Samurai. Samurai Third Eye is great, but it's not EO Third Eye. Ninja is great with its kiting, but, you know, I mean, it's still going to be vulnerable. You don't have kiting forever like you do in Heaven on High. So yeah, there's a lot of holes with the other classes that you'll start to feel. And it's really nice to also, like, you know, you're skilled. You have this shield lined up to when you need to, so when that doesn't exist, it gets a little rough. Rip the speed run. So going very moderately fast though. Let me check the other room. What is the other chest I didn't do? Affluence? No, purity. Okay, noted. It's another silver. I'm just gonna kill this and go back. Okay, let's go. I probably aggro that knight. I'm just gonna kill him. Just get rid of him now. Sam is a run I'm doing right now. It's fun, but I definitely feel squishier. Yes. It does have less defense too versus the maiming classes. But I really like the damage on Samurai. Having Shinten now in Palace, when it originally didn't have Shinten. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Samurai not having Shinten for Palace? I do like Samurai. I like Samurai because it's spammy. Aside from having to build those stickers, it is very spammy. It feels very strong. I like it a lot. I definitely want to get to all the rooms because I want to see if I can find a Strengthened Steel. Okay. Switching. Strength. Oh, good. Okay, I should have held on to that for a little bit. At least the strength was good. I should be fine with strength on. That's probably all I need. Steel would be nice, but it's not unnecessary. Yeah, I'm not fighting for that. I'm just gonna go to the exit. We get close to the exit, and then we'll kill the rest to get the exit open. I do want to thank you guys for joining me today. A little quick stream, but we did 90 floors. Reaper was just that fast. And great talks, great discussions. I hope you all have had and have a good day so far. Next Monday will be the continuation of this file. 141 plus into 200, hopefully a clear this time. The rest of the week will be more clear obscure. We are past the credits, and I'm just trying to clean up for achievement hunting. May look into probably doing some challenge runs in that game. Not quite sure what my mood is, but we'll see how it goes day to day. And that's what we expect. 9 PM Eastern, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the moment. So if you want to check out those playthroughs and those runs, that'll be there. And next Monday will be 3 PM Eastern for the Reaper run. And if we clear Reaper, our next destination will be Summoner. So we'll be looking into doing Summoner after that one. Alright, boss time. Have a new little strategy here. I think we do 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, something like that. I do a lot of 3s now instead of 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. You squeeze it in. So first one is 3. This is 3. This is 2, because it's gonna drift a little bit. This is 3, and the next one is 3. I'm a little bit more confident to do this now, because I'm crazy. I'm right at the edge of that. Okay. Completely unnecessary, other than I just want to show off, but yeah, there you go. Alright. 140's down. I'm getting a little too comfortable on that one now. It's a warrior. Seen a PF for Savage where someone actually handicapped and used controller with one hand, so your one-handed deep dungeon runs can be very relevant. I'm working on that video. Hopefully I can get more progress on that. I mean, the runs are up on YouTube, the actual one-handed runs, but I was going to do a supplement video to that, so hopefully I can maybe try to do that today. So that's my plan. But yeah, we got there. 141, all set to go. No problem here. Uptime says 2 hours, but we've been up for like 4. But guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you had a good time. We had a really nice talks. Really appreciate the conversations. If you haven't seen any of the Deep Dungeon runs or the guides and everything, that's on the main channel. If you want to see my playthrough for Clear Obscure and any other variety stream, that is on the variety channel. We have a Discord as well. If you guys want to park yourself into Discord to prepare for the next Deep Dungeon, because we're gonna go ham. The community's gonna go ham on that next Deep Dungeon. If you want a place to go and have the latest news, then that's our Discord. So, you know, we're keeping track of it. I'm keeping my ears on the ground to see if I get any news on it. Nothing yet, but you better believe that I'll try to be all over it. So thank you guys for joining me. Wallen, Roki, Chelly, Biftech, Rory, Varieties, Thurin, Chloe, everybody else, YouTube, everyone over at YouTube, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone for watching. Let's go drop you off to someone out there doing something out there. Let's see. Let me see if someone is doing maybe 14. Maybe drop you up to someone doing 14. Let me see. No, there's no one doing. Let me check the directory for this one. Yeah, have a good night, guys. Perfy, I appreciate it. Let me just see if anyone is possibly doing something related to Deep Dungeon or anything of that liking. We have our buddy Moody, who I always get a rarity to raid into, and she's doing some 14. Ooh, I see a Eureka Orthos. Oh, but it's a party. People. Ugh, people. Yeah, no one's doing Deep Dungeon right now, as I can see it. Ooh. There's one, but it's in... I don't know what language that is. I don't even recognize the language. Would want to go to someone speaking English in Portuguese. Yeah, okay, so let's go to our buddy Miss Moody, because she might go a little bit longer. She always raids us, and man, just having the opportunity to raid into her is great. She does a lot of community events. She does a lot of your everyday Final Fantasy 14, content. Right now, she's doing some MSQ, I think, probably on an alt. And she's our good friend, Miss Moody Moomba. She visits us all the time. She's done some Deep Dungeon a little bit on her end. She helps a lot of people through Deep Dungeon. So if you haven't met her yet, she's fantastic. If you like this time zone, guys, she is fantastic. She streams at this time zone earlier than I do, so she covers it. So if you want someone to have on lurk and to watch, she's your girl. So appreciate it, guys. Have a wonderful night. I'll catch you tomorrow, hopefully, for more Clay Obscure at 9 p.m. Eastern. Let's go raid. See you guys later.